Are you ready? Can crush us. It don't really get no better than this the podcast that you're looking for if you're really heavy into wrestling. Hosted by the Mark. Energy that's so amazing. Gotta keep it entertaining. Rep the Can Crusher Nation. Yeah, you know what's going down in the ring. Lights out when you hit a ding ding. Knock them out like boom bada bing. Hold it down, you can crown me the king. Got a shout out to the Miz and Duke the Dumpster. We choke slamming everybody. Power driving, hit them with a face buster. Yeah, this the show you need and it ain't no need for waiting. Mark, hold it down for the Can Crusher Nation. All about wrestling and keep it entertaining. Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Time to break them, let's go. Yeah. Can Crushers. Yeah. Can Crushers, let's go.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
Ooh, I didn't know what we were going with, so I went hello.
I had to make two stops today. By the way, welcome to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast, episode 500. I was going to put an expletive there, but I'll wait a minute. 500. I'm your host, Mark the Mark Martinez. That is Sir Michael Jenks. Hello, by the way.
Hello. I'm back from the grave.
Or back from the grave, and we'll get there. I was going to stop two places. I needed some soda for this rum that I've described, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so.
Yeah.
You said Aruba, Seaman's favorite, and this, that, and the other. Oof. It's not strong. Two, it's god-awful. I don't know what seaman wants this, but it's not any good.
Well, it's probably the one they drink after they can't taste anything anymore. So they're probably just like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's bottom barrel. Let's chug it. It's fucking rum. It's last resort rum.
I've saved this bottle for way too long. After this tumbler that I have right in front of me, probably segment 2, switching back over to the Barbados one that I have that's got like the chocolate caramel hint and everything. I got a little bit more of that. I plan to be trash by the end of this. Is my goal.
That's good. You need to drink for both of us, so that'd be fantastic if you could.
I called you out enough last week. I did. Guys, we'll get to a lot of the shindigs that we have going on. Just be prepared. A litany of people coming on the show today to chit-chat, and then we'll cover wrestling as needed as we go. But, yeah, this is more of a celebration drinking. As you know, by the way, this was planned to be a live episode. Live for me and you. It
was planned to be live recording for us in the big city of Erie, Pennsylvania, and then some asshole on this recording crew decided to not only miss one opportunity to see you in person, but 2 opportunities to see you in person and get fucking sick. So there's your explicit warning. So I was batting 1,000 last week, and if you can tell, I kind of still am a little bit.
Yeah, but you don't sound like Darth Vader like I said you did last week.
Oh, I did last week. And over the weekend, I sounded horrific. Yeah, it was not good. It was, I got wrecked.
Not in a good way, not
in a good way. There's not a way I wanted to do it, but.
So, again, I was going to stop 2 places. One was to get soda because we didn't have any soda in the house, and the other was to get those things to, the dollar store, because I wasn't buying them anywhere else but the dollar store. Get ready. It was after work. There was a million people all over the place. The farthest parking, I should have just parked at my house and walked. But I'm like, we'll just yell. We'll just yell and scream about episode 500. That was good enough. It would only have been one anyway. So it would have been,
well, that's true because I didn't have.
If I would have forewarned,
I could have whistled or something to make it work.
Can you whistle
I can't do this, but I can do something like that. It didn't come through. If Bailey's pissing me off, it comes through really well.
Those were the worst.
It sounds louder over here sometimes. It's not loud at all right now. Currently, I got no air behind it.
You have cockles, though. That's
Barely. I got something going on here.
So before we get into everything and the 500, because I don't have anything really planned, but I did some stupid things, and I didn't tell you. So I'm just going to hold off on that. We know you were wrecked. We know that we were supposed to meet up to do this show. I'll throw you under the bus until we meet up, because I also have a ton of fucking shit still sitting in the goddamn freaking studio to get out of here, because mailing it now, it's cheaper to drive it up to you as much as I was going to
say, it's going to cost less. The gas is going to cost less than fucking mailing whatever is there.
Right. I lost my train of thought. Welcome to episode 500.
So 500.
Normal episode.
You were talking about not only were we going to record live.
You throw this out as I'm chilling out, heading to the first pit game. The game is well out of hand in the first quarter, so Mark is sulking now. Hey, I'm supposed to be there. What?
So let me give you the story behind this. It kind of happened beginning of last week, kind of right before I got sick and right as I got sick. Was Kimberly's like, hey, my dad wants to go for his birthday, wants to go to a pit game, and he's buying tickets. Do you want to go? And I'm like, that'd be great. I'll go. I'd love to go. And then I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute. I can see Mark because he's going to obviously be at the first pit game. I wasn't going to tell you because I thought this will be a nice surprise. Be like, hey, motherfucker, where are you at? And kind of do it that way. Well, then Wednesday night happened where I get a fever, take a nosedive, headache, whatever, the whole shebang. By Friday, I was like, this is not fucking happening. So I'm like, I text her, I'm like, I can't come. I'm completely out of commission. So fast forward to Saturday. When I texted you, she had sent me the picture. And I'm like, oh, Kimberly's there. I was supposed to be there, but now this is my view. And I had the games up and all that stuff. And yeah, I was wondering if you were like, that motherfucker, you were MFing me.
So did. Kel didn't get to go either because something came through with work, so she had to go cover that. So this is going to sound weird, but you'll understand, Jenks.
Yeah.
I went to a football game with my mom.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yep.
And besides the game itself, it was probably what I needed. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I got to meet my seat buddy for the rest of the year. And now we are invited to, and we were kind of throwing this out there. We were looking for some place to go mingle kind of before the game. We'll throw them a couple bucks or whatever, because bringing food 3 hours or, alcohol is a different story, but I'm not going to bring baked beans down for 3 hours. He's like, no, man, just come on down and you join the tailgate. Don't bring anything. We got everything covered. He's like, I'll text you like the day before what lot we're going to be in, this, that, and the other. So now I can't wait till next week when it's North Carolina at 8:00, because I wonder how early they're going to start. And how early I want to get down there.
Oh, they're starting at 8 a.m. 100%. You got to get the stuff going. Got to get everything set up. Yeah.
It's a big game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's a hell of a big game. Yeah.
I mean, what's happening tonight as you guys are listening, Backyard Brawl, do not bother me. Anyone. I will be swearing at the TV, especially as bad as they looked last week. Putrid.
Yeah, they didn't look
putrid.
They didn't look great last week.
The third quarter, halfway through the third to halfway through the fourth, fucking national champs.
They showed up, but
I digress. Essentially, my week did nothing. I'll put this out now, in case anybody on our list of messages brings this up, I don't know. If you have not seen the Netflix special, The Wrestlers, unbelievable. Al Snow and everybody at OBW. I did jump on the bandwagon. I might have been that dick, though. Wednesday when it came out, Netflix was promoting it, and Al was promoting it, and everybody, all the wrestlers were promoting it. Every post, I said, I had them all on Can Crushers prior to this ever being a thing, and tagged us in everything. And I did, though.
You gotta promote. You gotta promote the show.
Right? Yeah. I'm jumping on everybody. So, like, hey, half the cast was already on Can Crushers like 2 years ago.
Hey, you know what? Take it. Promote it.
So,
if you guys want to hear the Spotlight episode, listen to episode da-da-da-da-da.
Just ask me questions. I'll search through the 500 episodes and find out when you want to talk to Jada Spark or somebody like that. Jada Stone, I mean, yeah. But I watch it. It's an unbelievable docuseries. I'm very, very happy the way, not that I had anything to do with it, but I'm very happy the way that it came out. There's good guys, there's bad guys in the docuseries itself. It gets emotional. The last one, I had a tear in my eye because I'll ruin it a little bit. Al wrestles.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Besides wrestling this week, we'll get there. But, yeah. What are your... Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, on the topic of the OVW documentary, I saw one clip. And this one clip was, I think somebody put on TikTok or something like that. They were, I don't want to say making fun of James Storms' wrestling fee or whatever it was, but they were going in on it. And I was like, oh man, this is going to be really good. Just based off that one clip, I'm like, this is going to be really fucking good. Just how the mindset and the process of booking the shows, the talent, getting them to where they need to be, da-da-da-da-da, the background stuff.
You see almost have a heart attack, by the way, a couple times.
Oh, really?
Booking aspect and everything. Not a true heart attack, but you can just see him going, fuck my life.
But I gotta imagine that's a daily thing for a booker. You run into those things on a daily basis. Somebody doesn't show up, somebody gets injured, some asshole gets sick when it ruins a 500th episode show. You don't know what's gonna happen, but things pop up, so you kind of have to move forward and move on and figure out the next game plan, the next path forward for it. So I think I'm gonna find that really interesting when I get to watch that.
You will. You'll thoroughly enjoy it. I believe it's 8 or 9 episodes. It was actually all from last year, so it was the big one that ended in, I believe it was August, maybe early September. But yeah, it was all from last year, 2022 stuff. So nothing 2023 is on it. But I hope it really brings eyes to OVW and to indie wrestling itself.
Yeah.
So you get to meet and know people. Again, Jada Stone's in it. We've had her on the podcast, and I'm not using her just because she's the one that just keeps popping in my head. She's on the show. You see her a few times. You just see what she's going through. And then, I don't want to ruin it all. So just, it's a hell of a watch. It really is.
It seems like it, and I can't wait to watch it. So, guys, if you also forgot, Al Snow sponsors us with Collar and Elbow. So get after that.
Best place to do this. Let's just do it now.
Can I say something? Wait, real quick before we do that. The amount of care and love you gave Al Snow last week when you were promoting Collar and Elbow was just brought a tear to my eye this morning when I was listening to it.
You gave him some love last week.
You gave him a lot of love. We do, and I thought it was very nice that you gave him a lot of love in that. So I was like, oh, I really have to not be here so you can give love to Al Snow and Collar and Elbow.
Maybe it was just stretching time last week, what I was looking for, because I rambled through everything really quick last week. I don't know if you noticed. Like it was maybe an hour and 20 episode normally.
Yeah, it was an hour 20.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to talk to yourself for 3 hours. I get that. So
yeah, I understand. Hats, hoodies, tees, all the cool stuff that Al Snow and Hooligans have down in Louisville at Collar and Elbow. Make sure you buy it, use it, wear it, love it. You'll see, if you watch a wrestler, I got like 3 or 4 of the shirts that he has on. You don't have any because he stops fucking sending stuff. Thank you, Al. But, essentially the stuff that he has on, he's worn that Living the Dream. I talk about it a lot during the Spotlight shows. I just end up wearing that shirt during recording of Spotlight, so I always have it on. But yeah, his shirt is as old as mine. They both are great. They're both comfortable. Promo code
It's Can Crushers. Get yourself 10% off a collar on elbow.
There you go.
Almost stumbled over my words there. That's not good.
That's all right.
I'm getting back into the groove of things here.
A week off. I understand. So as we get ready to move forward into this 500th episode, we do have to touch on one more thing. And I don't know if you want to bring up hot topics after this or not. Are you enjoying NCAA football right now?
Oh, I was loving it. I mean, I was loving it from the couch last week. That's for damn sure. Everything from Bama and Texas winning to, I was watching a Pitt-Cincy game, Oregon, Coach Prime living it up in Colorado and that right now.
That's what I listened to on the way to Pittsburgh. I listened to that game. Listen, I don't know who's not a fan of Colorado right now.
If you're not a fan, I think it's just for the coaches
for Prime.
Exactly. It's the hate you had for Prime, or it's the hate because you're a traditionalist, and the way he's building his team right now is not the traditional way you build a team through college football or in the past in college football. And I think that's where it's coming out with a lot of these coaches too that are just taking pot shots at him. I mean, the Colorado State coach now commenting on, I wouldn't wear sunglasses and a hat giving interviews or whatever. Just mind your fucking business. Just go for it. And that's basically what Prime told him is, I don't pay attention to that. Go mind your business, whatever.
And Prime is bringing all the stars to Colorado.
He is. All of them.
Snoop was there. I wrote it down, and it's in the Jeep, but the Jeep's at Ethan's work with Ethan. But there was a plethora of stars at Colorado's first home game.
Oh yeah, there was a ton of them. They were all there. And I mean, even now, even this week, Colorado State, I mean, you can talk about it. Rock is in Colorado right now. He was on Pat McAfee earlier, which we can kind of get to what happened on that show with them.
And then SmackDown tonight.
You think so?
Oh yeah. As recording, I just posted it, by the way. So you guys you saw it last night, but I literally just posted it before we started recording.
I didn't even see it.
He's going to SmackDown, and I don't want to steal your thunder, so go ahead. Finish the story.
Well, anyway, I was just compiling on with The Rock, and people are going because they're all there to kind of, they're in love with it. They're infatuated. People like me are infatuated with what Colorado is bringing to the spotlight, and that's because people love it. Coach Prime is doing what we anticipated them to do, and Coach Prime is doing what a lot of fucking people did on their college football games way back in the day. People loaded up and just said, I'm going to fucking do a team of 99 and see how many teams I can bulldoze with bumfuck nowhere state university and see where it can run the table. That's what Prime's doing right now. He's just doing it in real life. He's taking advantage of what the rule is and rolling with it. I mean, because none of these kids are coming to Colorado. No. Colorado's beautiful, but none of these kids are coming to Colorado unless A, Coach Prime's there, B, they're getting paid.
The NIL.
The NIL. And to that point, yeah. But to that point, Coach Prime, man, he's out there for the kids, and he's a leader. He's a mentor. He's mentoring. He's coaching. He's teaching. He's doing a lot of good shit for these kids, and he's teaching a lot of other people a lot of different things through his interviews and that too. Like, telling people shut the fuck up and just mind your own business and da-da-da-da-da. Prime's doing a lot. He's going to do a lot of good for the sport, whether people think so or not.
Love him or hate him, yeah.
Yep.
So to reference back to The Rock confirmed he was supposed to have a match.
At 39.
At 39.
Yep.
But Rock doesn't want it as a one-off, essentially. He wants something to come out of it.
Well, he was talking about on Pat McAfee today, but as you guys were listening yesterday, he was talking about, listen, we had something, but I wanted to do something truly special, a beginning to a story instead of an end of a story. But they never came close, so they said they put their pencils down per se and just kind of went forward. But he also didn't discount WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia either. Right. He was like, they mentioned WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and he's kind of pitter-pattered around it but didn't say anything about it. So
with the writer's strike, listen, unless
he's got nothing going on. I mean, that's why Cena's doing 8 weeks of SmackDown. Whether you like it or not, Cena's got nothing better to do, so why not come to SmackDown and just work for 8 weeks?
Yeah.
So if Rock shows up to set something up.
Yep. It's perfect timing. Mm-hmm. I really think it's perfect timing because you're in that we always call in WWE the dead era of the year. Nothing really matters or happens because Survivor Series is crap. We'll continue to pile on that as it gets closer. But yeah, I mean, everything now is just a sub feeder to Rumble.
Yep.
That then feeds WrestleMania.
Exactly. That's why it's perfect time to bring these guys on, have them do a couple one-offs, Excuse me. With the writer's strike, you got 8 weeks of Cena. Gives you 8 weeks of free ratings, basically. And, I mean, also going into that, people are tuning in to see what's going to happen in this new era of WWE, what's going on. So if you're going to have Cena under Hunter's creative control and The Rock now coming in, which seems like it could be under Hunter's creative control too, there's a lot of good things that could come of this and a lot of perfect storm that's happening, and it could force it to be must watch even against Monday Night Footballs of the world or college footballs of the world.
I didn't see a lot of releases as Vince McMahon now only owns 16%. I believe it's 16, right? 16% of the company, not majority owner, You guys all read that over the last week and a half. Office people. And I'm not saying it mean like that because I understand office people run. I thought maybe we would get a name from WWE being released, unless I just missed something. And I know you're on Twitter now looking. I see your eyes are going crazy, but I haven't seen anything. I haven't heard anything yet. It's just been behind the scenes people.
Yeah, and I was checking because the one Twitter feed that's been updating pretty consistently has been Sean Ross Sapp. He has said in one of his tweets about an hour ago, today's cuts are only employees. They don't extend to the talent portion of it. So they don't extend to the wrestlers. The one person I've seen that might be of note for people that watch know people, Dana Warrior is gone. So she was one of the ones let go. But again, not that she was on the community outreach team. She wasn't involved with WWE. You saw her once a year acting a fool on fucking stage in the Hall of Fame.
And she wasn't even on this year's Hall of Fame.
She wasn't.
No.
Well, no, wait. No, because this year's was Shad, right? So she was kind of acting weird around Shad, JTG and Shad's son, because he was the Warrior Award winner. And she got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. So I think that's kind of where that probably played into it, but we can only speculate why they're making the decisions they're making for it. But
because they have a whole other team in their back pocket.
Exactly. They know they have somebody else completely there to replace, or TKO Endeavor. They have their own community outreach. They have their own people in place that they can have be placed in the office to do the work that people in WWE were doing. And if they weren't going to transition and bring these other people in, then that's kind of what you've been seeing today.
Adios. All right. Yep. Enough. I'm ready to pull up the mailbag, the voicemail, and everything. I'm jonesing. I'm a child. I'm an idiot.
You're jonesing here?
Jones Soda? You remember Jones Soda?
I do remember Jones Soda.
Bubble gum or like blueberry, raspberry, popsicle, or something like that. Yeah. Well before its time. I think it would do better now than it did when it was actually out. I think it's still out.
I was going to say, isn't it still out, but it's a lot less around.
Prevalent.
Yeah.
I've learned some words, by the way, in a week.
I'm very impressed. I'm not even needed anymore, I don't think. So I guess I'm just going to have to.
The roll has been opened of, no, I'm kidding. All right.
Got that dictionary roll going on. The source roll.
Generic as we want to just move forward. We already talked about collar and elbow, so Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads were there, right? Where can you listen to us?
You can listen to us. Oh my God! You can listen to us on Spotify. Mark's laughing hysterically. Spotify, Google Podcast, anywhere we fill your ear holes with pleasure, including Podurama. who has a lifetime discount coming on here for a lifetime membership. What's that discount look like?
Yeah, 50% off if you sign up for a lifetime membership right now. And Podurama, it's seamless across iPhones to Androids to laptops to computers to your Alexa, any place that you can listen to them. Essentially, where you pause it, it slides right over to your next one. It's a catch-all account, essentially. That's probably not the right terminology that they want me to use, but hey.
We know what you mean.
Yeah. Wherever you pause it, it'll pick right back up on your next device, and it's awesome. It's just a seamless one, so make sure you check out Podurama. And, yeah, thanks to a lot of people that reached out on the email saying, you don't have to mention my name. It was a quick, maybe like a friend or this, that, or whatever, saying congratulations on your shit that's going on. So a lot of people wrote to cancrusher69@gmail.com to do that. So cool. Thank you, everybody who did that. But I'm ready to hit play and play some of these. Like right now, all I see in front of me is about 20. I'm not counting offhand. Files that I saved, and they're only dated. So they only come by dates. I don't know who the hell called in. I don't know what's going on, but I just want to hit play.
I think it's time. I think we're there. Let's hit play. You know what? I'm as excited. I might hit the Prince Nana now. Let's go.
Wait, first you're going to hear from Al Snow because we still have to pay the bills. Al Snow's going to tell you about Collar and Elbow. We'll be back to play this game that we're going to play.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Hey everybody, this is Gilbert, WWF's longest reigning light heavyweight champion. And you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast, the best guys there are out there.
Knots Landing, My Three Sons, Dallas, Bonanza, Friends, The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross have nothing on Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. Welcome back, guys.
They
don't have 500 episodes.
They don't.
Not one of those things have 500 episodes.
They are nowhere close to this weekly episodic masterpiece.
Nowhere close. I think like Bob Ross has 497.
Listen, hey, don't destroy this for us.
They do not.
And Bonanza lasted
500 times.
Years. Yeah, Bonanza lasts 27 years or whatever.
Right.
Listen, they're just not good. They're just not. I mean, Bob Ross is a close second. We'll give him his props, but
right. All right. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna hit a button over here, and we're gonna listen to stuff. Jenks and I will kind of rekindle some of our memories after we listen to this and talk about a little bit of wrestling for the week and everything, and then essentially what Can Crushers is meant to both of us in the long haul. So that'll be probably segment 3. But guys, if you're just joining us for the first time ever, you found Can Crushers 500, welcome aboard. Okay, sorry about what we did in the first 20 minutes of the show, but this is episode 500 now. And I'm just going to throw some names out. We've had legends, again, because he pays the bills. Al Snow, Manny Fernandez, the OG Can Crusher, Duke the Dumpster, Ricky Morton, Nikita Koloff, Mosh, Heidi Lee Morgan. I mean, the list can go on and on of legends that we've had on the show.
Yeah.
We've had people that have written books about wrestling. The comic book encyclopedia, John Crother. Vinny Barry's on every, Black Friday. he just keeps pumping books out. Don Parker had an awesome book. We did it with the Masked Saint.
Masked Saint, yep.
And then, realistically, don't get us wrong. We love talking to legends. We love talking to the authors and everything like that, but it's the indie stars that make up the spotlight. So we get to know why do we need to sink our teeth into people like Maddie Rankowski, Ray Lynn, Nikita Knight. Oh, by the way, she's Thea Hale right now. The Bad Fellows, Britt Baker, Wardlow. They've all been on Can Crushers. Oh, by the way, we had fucking David Arquette on one time too. For a quick thing. And we'll get to all these kind of stories. This is where it's going to get emotional for you. For me, at least, I'm sure. But we were also, and yes, I am tooting our own horn this week. Give us our props. When Lance Von Erich came out of the dirt mound that he was in, he chose us first. Lance Von Erich had not spoken professional wrestling. He did the book with Vinnie Barry, and then he's like, I want to do the Can Crushers podcast. You have good ties with them, this, that, and the other. We had the first Lance Von Erich interview, spotlight, whatever you want to call it, in 30 years. He talks about the book, but we get him to go a little bit farther on some things. They're all in the archives, folks. So, big promotional thing. Yeah, this is awesome. But the buttons are fucking calling my name. I'm sorry. Do you want to say anything?
All I want to say is, from my perspective, it's been awesome to be on the podcast for the past 2 years. Love it. Celebrate. No. This is something I want to say just to you right now. But before that, you started this as your baby in 2018, and to see how far it's grown, I'm just proud of you, of everything that you've done, accomplished, people you've had on, the passion you've shown, the guests, the hosts that have been here before me, you know, everything up until this point. I'm just proud of you, man, and I just want to give you the props and say, listen, this baby has grown exponentially over the past 5 years, and it's all because of the hard work you put into it week in and week out with the spotlights, with editing my stupid ass every time I come on. You know, it's because of the work you put into it. So take your props, be proud of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say I'm just proud of you for that. And I'm sure all of these people are going to be proud of you on the lines, maybe trash me a little bit, maybe give me some shit for being sick. We don't know what's going to happen. But the love
have them in right dates
coming up.
So I don't have them in right dates. Here we go. We're going to hit this one.
Oh, you're here, dude. Wishing Can Crushers huge congratulations on their 500th episode. Oh, Mark, you're one of the coolest, raddest, greatest dudes I know. And you're one of the smartest Marks I know, too. Awesome, dude. Big congratulations. Just keep doing what you're doing. The dude really appreciates it. Keep up the hard work, brother. Really appreciate you and everything you do. Thank you, dude. Another congrats again, dude. Congrats.
So the dude must have been in a hole, first of all. Did you hear that well enough?
Yeah, I was glad you turned it up
probably.
Because I was like, wait a minute. Did my hearing just go out?
Dude must be in a hole.
Hey, you know what? He's celebrating life, man. He's in the darkness like Aaron Rodgers is now that he tore his Achilles. He's just ratting out.
The dude does celebrate life. Quick story on the dude. That's what it's gonna be, and I apologize. I'm probably gonna overshadow Jenks, and I apologize, Jenks. I love you. You know that.
Hey, no, you're good.
These guys, gals, I was going to call them kids or whatever, but these guys, gals at High Ground Professional Wrestling, right now have taken a liking to me. I'm being dead serious. This isn't being Mark the Mark right now. Taking a liking to me, and it's like, hey, let's do this, let's do that, let's kind of do this, let's do that. They're really awesome. They really are. And the dude, inside the ring, outside the ring, this is going to be a lot of fourth wall coming down, guys, so I'll probably get shit on across the board, but amazing human being. Really will do anything for the world and just really cool. So Yeah, that one's humbling right off the bat, Jenks. I hope it's not all about me. I will really feel horrible saying, hey, Jenks is on this too.
I'm just here for the ride, just like normal. So this is it's your flowers, man. Take it and run with it. I love it.
That's supposed to be but whatever. Yeah, that's a dude at High Ground Professional Wrestling. Alongside, he's at other shows too. Make sure you look him up. We've had him on. He just cut Fletcher Young's hair 2 months ago. So yeah, I can't wait to see bald Fletcher Young. By the way, that
would be fantastic.
That bastard probably he fucking hates me.
He probably called demanding his hair back or somehow. Or he's gonna accost you the next time you go to High Ground.
I'm sure he will. Sure he will. All right, that's one out of the. I'm not saying out of the way because the dude you listen to his spotlight. He's just a great guy.
He is a great guy. He's a very great guy. Giving you the props that you need, and I love it. I love it.
Number 2.
Wow. Yeah, wow. Referee Daniel Spencer here, and yes, Impact and with OVW. I'm shocked. I am shocked that you're about to hit 500 episodes. I am just astonished. I just can't believe that somebody would keep you on the air for enough time to make 500 episodes. Blown away by that. Really, I am. Mark, your podcast is trash. I mean, it's just in the name, Cane Crushers. It's trash. Yeah, I just can't believe you're still on the air. Like, maybe you're canceled at $4.99. That'd be great. That'd be the best thing ever. No, I'm totally joking. Mark, I love you, man. Congratulations on 500 episodes. I'm super stoked for you, man. I miss you so much. Can't wait to see you again in the future, and maybe we can do another collaboration on Ringside Podcast and Cane Crushers or something like that.
Of course, he had to get his fucking podcast in.
Really, congratulations to everybody at Cane Crushers, to all the listeners and supporters, and you guys are amazing. Ringside Podcast is slowly approaching 200, but I had to throw that out there, a little plug. But man, I'm super.
That's like the third one.
To be 500. Definitely deserve all the glory and all the props. A lot of hard work goes into it. So love you, man. God bless, and looking forward to the next 500.
If I knew he was calling it, I would expect that. We have other podcast for years now.
In my mind, I was getting ready for this. We just talked about Coach Prime, block out those haters, getting everything going, and then he went around and just had nice comments after about halfway through. So, and promote his own podcast at the same time. So, it all worked out in the end. I don't have to get on that Deion Sanders high horse type thing.
Right. Guys, Daniel Spencer, I met him at OVW when I went down for the whole, first ever, I was going to say triathlon. It wasn't a triathlon. Jesus God. Combine that they were doing when Al opened the combine up and everything. Met him right off the get, alongside Chad Miller and Al Snow. Welcomed me right in. There was an opportunity there to possibly move to Louisville, do some things like that. That would have been awesome. You guys know, sickness, mom, and everything. We'll talk more on that because that's an episode I definitely want to talk about. Everything happened with mom, so kind of had to put all that on the back burner, and then life again in general. But if there's somebody I ever do need to reach out in the wrestling business, and we're 8 hours apart, I know he would do something for us to do something with Impact, or right back to OVW, grab some of those people and everything. Daniel will say a cool word for us. He is a great guy. He does still look like an idiot, though, wearing the one sleeve in the wrestling ring. The one sleeve referee.
He's doing his best.
Why a compression sleeve as a referee?
Got to protect his arm.
Is that what it is?
Well, I would assume that's why he would wear compression sleeve. Maybe he's got
a referee.
Maybe he's got a one-on-one with Jordan afterwards. You don't know.
Possibly. Again, Daniel has been on the show a few times, just spitting nonsense most of the time about himself and Ringside Podcast. Go listen to it if you have nothing else better to do.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Listen to it. Thank you for calling in, Daniel. Appreciate it.
You're not going to give shit to anybody because you're not that guy. I will, though. I will.
You're in. I'll balance it out if I need to. I'm sure there's going to be at least a few that I have to give shit to.
Oh, I would hope so. I would hope so. All right. Next up.
Mark. Brock Boulder here, one half of Grappling Inc. Calling to tell you congratulations on 500 great episodes of Can Crushers. Man, I'm so proud and so happy to be just a small part of those 500 episodes, and can't wait to hear the next 500 plus. Again, congratulations. Keep on killing it, man.
Brock Boulder, Ohio-based wrestler from FTC, Art of Grappling, and all that. I reached out. I don't know who reached out first, essentially, but then he opened up a whole new world, essentially, to us in Ohio to do spotlights and everything. He's got his, damn it. This is somebody that I wouldn't mind saying, hey, go watch it, because he does his podcast, video on YouTube and such.
Okay.
So look up Brock Boulder. Look up Brock Boulder. He also says it and this is not to make you go back and listen to all the episodes that you missed or anything. I'm just saying, if you want to know more about Brock Boulder, we do have a spotlight with him. But this guy is awesome as well. He's hooked us up with a lot of people. Bobby Blaze was a great spotlight that he hooked up with us. Man, Bobby brought it. So yeah, Brock, thank you. One of the great guys in professional wrestling. So yeah, I do hope, there was something planned to get to Ohio. Shit fell through because that was train wreck part of life, I think. Yeah, so we'll get to Ohio, and maybe that's when, Darth Vader here is not sick and just can ride along.
Yes, agreed. And I remember this because it happened recently with the Ohio thing, getting into the footprint and all of that stuff. So it was always exciting in that, because he's based out of Cincinnati, Columbus area, right? Or lower, somewhere in that, somewhere around there.
That in like Kentucky, it's like right on that border-ish, yeah.
Yeah. I remember this. We were really excited when this came up and when it came through. So it's still an exciting prospect to get further into Ohio, learn more about the Ohio-based wrestling and that, because us Pennsylvania boys. We're here in Pennsylvania.
It's not in Ohio, by the way.
It's not. So OVW, yeah, we know about, but we're based in Pennsylvania. We know the Pennsylvania indies inside and out. Basically, well, Mark does. I'm just along for the ride some days. But getting into Ohio is a very prosperous, and hopefully over the next 500 episodes, we get very much acquainted with the Ohio style, the Ohio brands and all that. 500 plus. I mean, I was time boxing us to the 1,000th episode when we are shooting cannons out of our asses and really celebrating at that point live. But 500 plus episodes, it'll be fun to try to get more into Ohio.
1,000 will definitely come faster than 500, by the way. And people are like, what are you talking about? There's still 500 numbers in between. The first 2 years of Can Crushers was a once a week show. Right. There wasn't the spotlights, and of course, both of them count into the whole family of Can Crushers. So the other 500, and I'm not doing the math because I can't math right now. By the way, I went back when I topped off my drink during the 5-second break that we had. I figured, let me just get this shit out of the house. So when somebody does come over and says, oh, what's that weird ass semen bottle? I don't want it to be here because I don't want somebody to say, what are you drinking? So I'm just going to polish that off right now, get it out of the house so it can be away and nobody will judge me. You guys can just judge me on the show right now.
I'm committed to you just sticking with this damn semen bottle and drinking it. Like, you could just put it on the shelf somewhere and say, "Oh, somebody bought me that from Aruba. It's okay." Right. That's fair. And you could just tuck it on the shelf, said, "It's from my mother-in-law. It was from Aruba. I had it. It was what it was, and now I just leave it on the shelf for decoration type thing." But
yeah, possibly.
Hey, if you want to keep drinking it, more power to you.
I'm going to drink it like Stone Cold. All
right. You're going to smash it with another bottle so then it just goes everywhere. Make sure you stun. I don't know who you're going to stun, but...
Right? All right, next up.
It started as a dream and then with a scheme. 2 guys drinking beer, talk wrestling here. It's Can Crusher Day. Honestly, it's been a true honor to be part of the Can Crushers at the beginning. I'm glad to see you guys are hitting 500 episodes. Congratulations, Mark. Keep killing it, man. Love you.
Wow. That just hit everything.
Yeah.
That's first co-host.
Yeah.
That's Paul Bullers. All right, this is where the story starts, I guess. This is essentially 2 guys talking wrestling on the back of a garbage truck. Both looked at each other and said, "Hey, there's people out there who will listen." Took a bit, kept grinding. We talked wrestling for half an hour. Then I said, "No, Paul just has to go to an hour." No, Paul, this has to go a little bit longer. Paul, I'm getting deep into this. Now we're covering OVW. Imagine we're covering this, we're covering that. Listen, Paul was amazing. He really was. We were flying. Not that we don't now, Jenks. By the seat of but this was complete flying by the seat of our pants. What the fuck we were going to put together week in and week out. Love the guy, really do. Everything that he's done for this podcast, and he would come up with those shticks like that, different for every week. Never tell me what's going on, but always would make it Can Crusher Day, and I could never do it like that. But yeah, he was the one. Paul was when we would bring the laptop and a portable recorder that we would hook up together and get wrestlers to talk after events that we went to. Essentially, when we were doing stuff with Asylum and IWC, we would have the recorder. We would hit record on the computer. We wouldn't have all the cool technology we have now, but yeah, that's cool. I wasn't sure if he was going to call it. We haven't talked in a while. Family. Listen, he's married now. He's got 2 kids and all of that. He's got definitely probably better priorities than I do right now because I make sure that this continues to come through. And as you said, this is my baby. I get all that. But yeah, I'm sure Jenks will say, as soon as I heard the voice, I knew. And I kind of had to look up because I wasn't sure. That's awesome. That's everybody before Paul. I love you, but as of right, wow, that's a pretty fucking cool phone call for me right now. That meant a lot.
You know what was cool is watching your face light up as soon as you knew who it was, and it just brought all watching the emotions come to your face, kind of just taking it all in and reminiscing back. It was beautiful to see from my end. But that's where it started. You know, you mentioned it. It was all started from the back of a fucking garbage truck. Yep. You came up with the name back then. You did what you had to do. The wife did. And hey, that's fair. But you guys had it all. And, you know, it's those humble beginnings and those originating co-hosts and all that stuff. It floods a lot of emotions back. So that's beautiful. It was beautiful to watch on my end, watching Mark light up when he heard the voice and heard who it was.
We gave garbage tips per week too, because clearly I'm a garbage man and he was too with me when he worked at the same job. And it was like, don't put glass on top of your garbage cans, at least label it for us. Don't throw dog shit directly on your bags. Put your garbage in a fucking bag instead of just having it loose. Don't make it weigh 900 pounds. We would give garbage tips. And, we were learning.
Educational. It was educational.
At one point, we were an educational podcast. Sure. We also played PSAs about wearing seatbelts and don't drive drunk. So, yeah.
Look at how educational it was. And now it's the degenerates have taken over this podcast and bottom of the barrel.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Would not have it any other way. All right, before I cry, let's move on.
This is the hottest commodity in professional wrestling, Fletcher Young. Mark, I don't know how the most boring guy in the world's got people to listen to him for 500 episodes. Hey, you did it. Congratulations. We all know who the best podcast guest you ever had, and that was me, Fletcher Young. But congratulations again. Next time I see you at High Ground, you better watch your back.
You called it like 10 minutes ago.
First and foremost, I am shocked that he called in because he truly hates me. Hates me. And it's probably noteworthy. Didn't think he'd call in. He calls in and shits on me.
I mean, I get it. I mean, but hey, listen. It may be.
That's what I need.
You need security. You need security. You need glasses. You are the star of high ground professional wrestling. We've talked about this before, JK guys. But you need security. You need people in all black escorting you in.
Will Prime security come with me?
Yeah, Johnny, fuck around and find out. I want that T-shirt, by the way.
Yeah, I do too.
That was a fantastic T-shirt.
Colorado should have that, by the way.
They should sell that for sure. I'm sure it's on TeePublic right now if you wanted to go look at it. But we're gonna need you. You got to get your back protected from Fletcher Young there.
I know. Like, besides just mocking him when I introduce him, like, why does he want to beat me? Like, he's self-proclaimed hottest commodity in professional wrestling. I could probably name a litany of others.
Maybe he's just jealous. I don't know.
Of me? He should be. He should be. I made a poster before him.
He's jealous.
Jenks may be coughing right now, so hold on.
You're good. I lost it. You're good.
Fletcher Young. Thanks. And hopefully somebody will have my back. Leave it at that.
What's up, Can Crushers and Mason? This is Ryan Mosley, the host of the Final Count podcast. And I just wanted to come on here and send out a shout out to Mark Martinez, my good buddy, and then also Sir Michael Jenks on 500 episodes. That's a huge step. I'm so excited and so proud of you all. And I just had to get on here and get this completed for you. And so I'm excited to see this 500th episode and hear it. I'm excited for what is next for Can Crushers Nation. And I'm excited for all the memories that I've had thus far on Can Crushers, being a part of the different episodes I've been a part of. And so looking forward to more and can't wait to talk to y'all next time. Thanks. And love y'all. Can Crushers Nation, rock 'em.
Wow. That's a good one. You're brought up in it.
I was brought up in it. Thank you, Ryan, for that. Also, we have no clue what's coming up, so we're excited to see whatever the hell we go, what direction we go for that, because we have no fucking clue. But thank you.
I'm excited to see what's coming up. Same bullshit we do every week, Ryan. And I digress. Listen, again, back to when I went down. I want to tell you how I met Ryan, and this is really cool. We were down at Louisville again for the combine, and the show was going on, but clearly because I was mark to mark then too.
Right.
So OVW knew that I had special access to do whatever I want. No, Chad Miller now knows I just get it.
Beating your chest over here, Jesus.
Yeah.
The way you beat your chest, it's going to turn bright red here, like Daniel Bryan getting chopped.
Right. By the way, oh my God, there's so much we should be talking about, but it's just about us today. I'm doing maybe like a Facebook Live with Ethan and Kelly saying, hey guys, make sure you get down to Davis Arena tonight. Can Crushers is in the building. And then I don't know if it was Chad or Al that kind of popped in behind and just did a wave. And I said, all right, Saturday night special starting soon. Bah. The first person that walks into the door is Ryan Mosley.
Really?
Didn't know him from Adam. Of course, I'm wearing probably collar and elbow stuff. And the only hat that I wear out when I go out, my disgusting Toledo Mud Hens hat that is so many years old that I need a new one. But it's just, you know, when a hat is the hat, right?
Hat, you gotta, yeah.
So repping that. And he's like, are you Mark from Can Crushers? What? Wait. What? What's going? This is like the first time that somebody outside of, you know, Pittsburgh where I've made a mockery of myself, or Altoona where I've made a mockery of myself, or wherever. Ryan walks up to me and is like, man, I listen to your podcast. I love it. You're Can Crushers. I'm like, I am. I'm like, look, by the way, Ryan, you see that we have a banner now in Davis Arena before the Ringside Podcast did, which was Daniel Spencer's, and he was there. So, yeah, how about that? But it was really cool. And Ryan's another guy, podcast host. I've never been – there are podcasts that hate each other, this, that, or the other thing. We don't do that here, Jenks,
no.
Right? We'll both go on a podcast. We'll both talk about wrestling. And we'll have reciprocate, have them on, do this. It's the Podcast Nation world, family, this, that, or the other. So Ryan was just on a couple weeks ago. Just kind of a state of a union or state of whatever in wrestling to kind of just piggyback off of both of us as a spotlight. So, yeah, you'll hear Ryan on here every so often. It's really cool. Great kid guy, whatever you want to call him, will do anything. And I will tell you guys this. Listen to the Final Count. They're doing a lot of cool things now, too. Ryan has released it. Good for him. He's going to be doing stuff on YouTube as well. Editing that I don't. But he's fastly approaching his 100th episode. So we'll
That's
have
awesome.
to put, if he does that, if he does kind of like a call-in or something, we'll have to put something together for him because he's a great kid. Completely
agree. He's a great listen. He's really good building it up from his own. He's had a lot of great people on from what I've seen, from promotions and from what I've listened and all that stuff. So love it, Ryan. Was that the first time you got recognized out in public outside of Pennsylvania? Was that?
Yeah.
Was Ryan? So you fed Mark's ego back then, Ryan, to say it.
Yeah, Ryan has definitely been the one stroking my ego for about 5 years right now. If I get ready to take it.
We love Ryan. We love all we love all podcasts. Here's the thing. It's not, people love to make the decisiveness be, you know, you have to love one or the other. But it's just been the whole IWC, the whole internet in general. But that's not what it's about for podcasting or wrestling podcasting, and that you're not out here as a blood sport. It's listen. Yet. Or unless you're Daniel Spencer's podcast, but whatever. Anyways, but we're here together. We're here promoted for everybody. Everybody's just here to have a good time, talk about wrestling, shoot the breeze, shoot the shit, and just talk about the state of what professional wrestling means to us versus them and that. So it's wonderful hearing Ryan go on about it and all the numerous podcasts out there. So there's no divisive nature, and watching and listening to it over the past couple of years, it's been pretty good. You know, it's been fantastic, and seeing Ryan live his best life right now, following him on Facebook and that. So go look up Ryan Mosley. He's out there on the Facebook and that, but it's been fantastic to have him along for the ride and watching everything that we're doing in that. So,
yeah, I agree. All right.
Hey, Mark, it's Colin. I was say, man, I just wanted to share my quick story about the Can Crushers podcast. If I'm remembering correctly, you started it around 2018, and it was around that time that I had moved back to the area. I'd say one of my favorite memories is coming to your house, being with you, Kelly, and E, and then going to Asylum Pro Wrestling in Clearfield. I would say that was always one of my favorite times. And of course we got, John in there as well. We had Swanee too, Pat sometimes. I mean, it was one of the most awesome times. And that came at a point too where I desperately really needed a healthy escape from reality. And what better healthy escape from reality than professional wrestling? Keep on crushing, brother. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Colin, Noodle. Met this kid when I went back to college, and I will call him a kid because he's kind of like a son to me. Communications major at University of Pitt Bradford. We ran that college. As an old man, we ran that college roughshod on some nights, and then went to class when we shouldn't have went to class. So we'll leave it at that. We both graduated. We're both adults now. He's doing better things. I'm still drinking on a podcast.
It doesn't get much better than that. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, Colin, Kelly, in love with this kid. He's again one of the guys, do whatever you want, shirt off your back. Stayed at the house a few times. Usually my WrestleMania date, he'll come down, watch WrestleMania at the house. But yeah, got him into discovering independent wrestling, essentially. He knew WWE. He was at a WrestleMania. He's still at a WrestleMania before I ever was, or probably going to go now. But this kid would do anything, really loved Asylum Pro Wrestling when we were kind of going there and maybe doing a little dabbling with them as well. But yeah, he is a good noodle. He really is.
That's
fantastic. He's been on the show a couple of times too, to kind of recap the Asylum shows that we did as well.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. And I love that. You're getting a lot of love here. Everybody loves you. We all love you. And this is your baby. I told you, this is your baby. You're getting all the love that you need and deserve for this podcast.
He did bring up one thing, and I really want to talk about this as I get ready to fucking close shit, because I'm moving files as we do stuff, and it's probably going to wreck the whole podcast. He brought up reality and discovering essentially Asylum and independent wrestling when he is a bad part, and we're still in September. So this is a great point where we're going to pause right now from playing these cool things. We'll return instantly here, but wrestling is that, Jenks. And this is, I'll spoil some of the stuff I was going to say at the end, but I thank you, Colin, for kind of pushing us into this one. This podcast does that for me. Yeah. Listen, when I have last week and this week, the 2 worst weeks of my life, I look forward to the 2 to 3 hours that we do this. If it was just for us doing this and maybe we had Bob Smith, just one listener, I would still do it. Because this is our release, our retreat, our whatever, to escape the negative thoughts, essentially, what Colin was talking about. So, Colin, thanks for bringing that up. And yes, that's what everybody should look at wrestling as, and not anything else. Entertainment, and I hate this, so wrestlers that are listening to this right now, it is entertainment across the board. So, it's that, a sports entertainment battle, however you want to place it, to escape reality for 3 to 4 hours and just enjoy yourself. And let the talent be talent and the ring announcer kick ass.
Yeah, agreed. You had to throw in that kick ass ring announcer, huh? He made sure to sneak that in there. But no, I completely agree. And I have to go off this sentiment because I've said it on here and I've always said it. Professional wrestling, especially in my early 20s, was the release for me. It was everything. This was where I went to escape a lot of different things in that. And I always found solace and enjoyment and happiness watching it as I go through college, deal with everything that, you early 20 whippersnappers always go through and that you're trying to get through. But it always took it one step further for me. And I always had issues getting out of the blue, getting out of the gray, getting out of just the darkness, basically. When Mark asked me 2 years ago to come onto the show, oh my God, it opened everything up. I was finally able to nerd out with someone else about professional wrestling, talk through it. You know, I have all these grandiose, crazy ideas that I throw out to Mark on a weekly basis that now it's just becoming second nature. And I always look forward to those 2 to 3 hours every week because I got shit to say and I just want to think of things. I think of things on the fly just between us talking about it.
Oh, yeah. That's my life.
Well, yeah, it's my life too, but when it gets the juices going, the creative juices in that, it helps you get away from everything and helps you provide that escape. And I'll be honest, I hated not being here last week because I knew it was a rough time and I knew it was this would have been something that could have got you out of everything that was going on the past week or so. But shit happens. I can't do anything about it. You know, you get sick and you go down and unfortunately it just didn't work out. But
kicked out at 2.9 though. So you're good.
It was literally 2.99 with that fever I had going. Whew. Anyways, but I think it talks a lot of when you find that one thing that's your thing that you can fully obsess about and be all in on, you are 100% any chance you get to escape realism, to talk about that, to watch it, to just lose your mind about it. It's unmatched, and it's nothing you can't talk about to the whole world. If you guys know, you have that one thing that my life might be a pile of steaming bullshit right now, but I can look forward to professional wrestling. I can look forward to talking to Mark about professional wrestling every week about that. And that's what gets you through the week. That's what gets you up in the morning. That's what gets you through things, is having that light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that's an interesting point to bring forward. I'm not going to get into everything I'll say later, but this was part of it was Can Crushers, pro wrestling in general, always provides that kind of light, that little thing to look forward to, even if the week's dogging you a little bit. So keep that in mind. Keep finding that light, even if it's not professional wrestling, even if it's not listening to us every week, which I don't know why it wouldn't be because we're just so fucking adorable. But
listen to our cockles.
Listen to our cockles stuffed up and everything. But you find that one thing that gets you through on the darkest of days, and you don't lose that, right?
Right.
And I think that's important to say. So it's good to hear Colin found that with wrestling, found that, providing some things with Asylum and seeing it, and you watch your WrestleMania buddy and all that stuff. You found it in this podcast and us hanging out every couple hours for every week. I found it in the same thing. People find different ways to express that, but whatever brightens your life, go for it and tackle it.
Agreed. To go down the other path real quick, guys, if you need help, you're not alone. There's numbers out there. There's just do not, okay? We're not going to go all the way down that path, but you understand that September Suicide Prevention Month, reach out. There's help everywhere. Don't. Email's always open. Phone number's always open. Listen, phone, when you leave a message, it comes right to my phone. So I'm going to, dabble with them or whatever and find out who it is. So yeah, that's just what it is. Leave a number. I'd rather talk to you all night than read about anything else.
Agreed. 100%. Reach out, do what you need to do. If it's not us, 988 suicide prevention hotlines out there. Reach out to a loved one, whatever you need to do to get through the night. NAMI, you reach out and just talk to somebody. Somebody is out there waiting for your call to listen to you and help walk you through where you're at in life.
Let's go to another call. Bring this back up.
Hey guys, this is Batman. I just wanted to say that I'm a huge 25 years of the podcast. I've been listening every year. You're not the podcast that we deserve, but the one that we need.
Fucking guy.
Go ahead.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I can't even escape this in my real life. If you don't know, I can't even escape this on the podcast, I should say. Batman has lived rent-free in my life for about 12 years now. If you don't know, that is the infamous Moochie that you guys have heard, who's called 13 times for Nascar Crushers before. All different voices terribly, ranging from Macho Man to some fucking former Paul Heyman I've never heard before in my life. But thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that for 5 years. He's now on the Batman kick because there's a new Batman College Humor video out. So
he's been listening to us for 25 years, though.
And he has been
every year. So does he only listen to us once a year?
So I think that's the case. You know, bats have extra sensitive hearing, so apparently they can listen 20 years in advance to what this podcast was doing. There's probably some science stuff that's above my pay grade when we're talking about whatever they've developed in the Bat Cave for Batman and that. So thanks, Batman.
Mooch, thanks. It means a lot.
We love you, Moochie.
We do. It means a lot that you do this. It breaks us 9 out of 10 times. I do ask, though, not 13 for the next Ask Can Crushers. That's just so many to go through.
I'm surprised this one didn't go 3 minutes, to be honest.
That meant short and sweet. That's all. It was just
Man, he's got to go fight crime in Gotham. That's about it.
Let us move along, please.
Hey, doing, ladies and gentlemen, this is Donnie Bambino, Big Papa Don, and I'm calling just to let you guys know how much I love Mark the Mark, okay? He's part of the family. He's part of the bad fellas, okay? He is part of what we like to call a family, okay? Sir Michael Jenks, I don't really know, because I haven't met him yet, but maybe, I don't know. You kind of seem like a wise ass, but that's not here nor there, all right? But I just want to congratulate you guys on 500. The Don has been watching ever since I met Mark the Mark, okay? I'm excited, and I hope you gentlemen have a great day.
First and foremost, so much with this guy, all right? But I'm part of the family.
You have the protection now. You have the protection. You're a made man. You're a made man.
I am. So and you're a wise guy? Well.
Wise ass. Yeah, I'll take it.
Oh, spade a spade. Yeah, you're an asshole.
Well, I'll take the asshole moniker. That's fine.
But I think he's calling you out again. I think he wants to meet you.
I think so too. Well, see, here's the trouble with this. I'm called a wise ass, and now you made the family. Is this to meet me, to take me out, to whack me, to get me taken out of the way here? You're made man. You can't have any distractions.
If I tell you, I have to kill you.
Well, don't worry. It's going to happen anyways, apparently, if I meet him.
Donnie Bambino, again. This is a fourth wall thing, and I apologize. High Ground Professional Wrestling. One of the first people, and I'm no knock the dude because I know he was just on too. One of the first people that I met walking out of the car with the family to the first event. He's like, "You're Mark the Mark." Instantly, hey, listen, I don't care who you are in life. To me, it's instant recognition. And do I really want to be like super famous? Yes, I do. I'm simple. Yes, I do want to be super famous. I'm that guy. Whatever. But when he doesn't have to say that. He didn't have to come up and, hug and welcome and like very welcoming backstage and everything like that into the wrestling world, essentially. Listen, Jenks, we're a podcast. A lot of wrestlers despise podcasts because of the dirt sheet ones.
Yeah.
Somebody
the bad taste from them. Yep.
Yeah, those people. So that's what we do. We're idiots to talk about wrestling, and that's why I think we're very much accepted. And I think you'd be in the family too. I'll leave it at that.
I gotta be made. That's where it is, but I agree with that. I think we keep it jovial, and that's why I'm a wise ass, because it's having fun. It's about having fun. It's not about reporting every fucking thing under the sun about what's going down and all that stuff, because that's just not who we are.
Shit today.
We got nothing today, but we're just talking shop and talking about wrestling, talking about something we love. So, and I'm gonna be a wise ass about it. That's how the button's buttered here. That's how it is. The bread's buttered, whatever. It's a brotherhood.
Yeah. So, Donnie, thank you for calling in. I'll see you soon, I'm sure. October, essentially, but we won't spoil that yet.
What's up, Can Crushers Podcast? It is Mr. Ref Fit himself, NWA referee Jared Fritz, and I just wanted to wish you guys a sincere congratulations on your 500th episode. I'm not sure what number episode I was, but I do remember that you guys were one of my very first podcasts, and I had a blast, and I am super excited that you guys keep killing it and keep doing what you guys love to do. You guys make the wrestling community a better place, and I'm thankful for it. Congratulations again, guys, and have an awesome day.
That's cool.
That is very cool.
I don't have the episode right. I know it was March 22nd, 2020. And I really never met Jared. I saw him at the first WrestleCade. Then I saw him when I went down to, I believe he was at the Crockett Cup that I was at. I don't know if you're looking up the number of the episode.
I got it. So
something just resonated with Jared about he just kicks ass as fucking takes names as a referee. There's a lot of referees I like. I love. Daniel Spencer's not one of them. But Jared was always so boom, open, and what was his podcast number? If you're listening to it on Podurama, you'll be able to find it by the number.
Yeah, it's 172 on Podurama. Okay. Or, there's a search feature on Podurama. I just looked up Fritz, and that's how I found it. But, yeah, 172.
Yeah, you can do that. Essentially, that's how I found that it was March 22nd, 2020 on the whole Spotify as well. If you're looking, if anybody that you want to listen, you just type them up. You'll be able to listen to them. But Jared, really cool. Super pumped that he called in. Still doing stuff with NWA. Still rocking it out. Super positive human being. Let's buckle back to Collins a little bit. If you're ever down that line, and I can call in, I know you're going to listen, and I'm not using you, but I'm using you. If you get down that line of, you're just in a funk, follow Jared Fritz, because this man is unbelievable about pumping himself up and you, because he is Mr. Positivity. I think Big E learned from Jared Fritz about positivity, because wonderful human being. Man, this was probably in that era one of my favorite still one of my favorite. I love all my podcasts. I don't even want to say that, but just a great podcast. As we talked about what NWA was doing, it was kind of right before COVID shut the fucking world down. So talking about the next Crockett Cup and what's going to go on and everything, and then, but note, I will make sure I see Jared. Jared always shows up at WrestleCade. He kind of lives in that neck of the woods to work AML and WrestleCade and everything, so I got to make sure I get over and see him and snap a picture with him, and me, give him a big ass hug. Great guy. Damn, I'm excited about all these people who called in, but this one really has me pumped too. He is just all about energy.
Yeah, Mr. Power Positivity. look him up on Instagram, Twitter, and all of that stuff. I pulled up his Instagram. He has a lot of great inspirational quotes out there in that right now. So go ahead and look him up. But it's fantastic to hear that there's a lot of guys out there that, from the NWA days, and see how far the reach has gotten from not only Can Crushers, but Mark, you reaching out, you talking to these guys in Spotlight and making the callback. 172 was over 300 episodes ago for us, and
that just gave me the chills right there. Stop already.
Mr. Positivity has got you remembered. Look at that.
Stop. Crazy. Oh my God, that's crazy. All right.
It is I, the IRS, Soup, Mark's cousin, Nate, whatever you want to call me. You've heard my voice before, probably on like 25, maybe 30 episodes, but 500 episodes is coming for Can Crushers. What a time to be a fan. What a time to be a wrestling fan. Everybody, pay your taxes, watch wrestling, and keep on crushing it.
Tax season's over. It should have been, right?
Yeah, but if you're late on your taxes, IRS is coming for you.
Oh, listen. There's a lot of brothers on the show. I consider you my brother. Every host prior, co-host prior, this, that, and the other. Not being a dick. This is a real family. This is my blood cousin.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ride or dies. I think he was on his year anniversary when he called. He's in fucking Puerto Rico right now.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that he called in. Azure, if you're listening, thank you for allowing him, 45 seconds to call in on you guys' anniversary trip. A guy that I could call at the drop of a hat. He'll come on. He'll do whatever. We go to wrestling shows. If we're not covering, as I look at Jenks, covering the wrestling show, and it's our escape just to go drink beer and yell at wrestlers, he's in the front row with me. I can't say enough about him. I mean, he's fucking tattooed on my sleeve. I have a can of soup tattooed on my sleeve. I love you, Soup.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. Also, props calling on the honeymoon. I love it.
Right.
All the love.
No, not the honeymoon.
Oh, the anniversary
trip.
trip. The anniversary trip. But still, props, man. Just calling, giving you the love that you deserve and need and all that stuff. Brothers look out for each other, and that was perfect.
Hey, y'all, it's Sarah Bubbles. Just wanted to call and wish Mark Martinez a happy 500th episode of Can Crushers. Hey, Mark, don't let anyone burst your bubble, because that's my job. Keep it up, bud. You're doing great.
Wait, what?
Is she working with Daniel Spencer now? Is that the heel turn?
I don't know. Don't burst your bubble because I'm gonna. Listen, she is a sweetheart. I'm gonna rep
more on you. You're in the shit house.
I'm loving her. She's bursting my bubble all of a sudden. Sweetheart, go listen to how she got into professional wrestling. Like, this story now, I don't remember much, Jenks, but it takes a few, and you know this.
Yeah.
Something like this really sparks my memory. She got into wrestling and go back and listen. Great spotlight, again, alongside Brox and Bobby Blaze and Titan Troy. I'm gonna forget a couple. I don't want to say Suicide. What the fuck was the tag team name that was on? That I glorified them. They were my favorite tag team for a hot second, and now they're gonna recall and say you forgot us. The Seduction Brothers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, them. Like, that's all part of, with Brox and everything in Ohio. So, yeah, I do love Sarah's gimmick. I really do. Just about bubbles and everything. But I now have to step back. Why does she hate me all of a sudden?
Apparently your bubbles aren't unpoppable like hers are. She wished you it and then immediately went for the throat. It's like... We talked about the positivity with Fritz, and it's completely just gone downhill. By Sarah Bubbles, of all people. I did not expect that to be the heel turn of the episode.
Of the show? Right?
Of the show. You never see it coming. That's what they say.
No, and it's... Here comes another storyline for Mark.
Oh, Can Crushers, this is your boy Pat.
God.
You may remember me the first couple of seasons. John and Mark made fun of me because they're dicks. They still make fun of me because they're dicks. Can't believe it's 500 episodes, but that's fantastic. That is awesome. Yeah, English professor, I don't like you too much. You suck eggs, boy. All right, peace out.
That's my Moochie.
Yeah.
That was clean for him. So I'll give it that he wasn't throwing as many fucks as we do.
Yeah, I mean, he was being nice. He got in his dick shots, called you a dick, and then moved on.
Again, one of my boys graduated with him. You've heard Pat on. We covered a couple MCW shows down in Maryland when I was with him. He was on the Gia Scott interview with me for about 30 seconds until his kids ran roughshod, and then he dropped out of the call. But Pat has been on the show a few times to cover some wrestling and everything.
Yeah.
I can't speak highly of him. I love him, but yeah, if he called in, I figured it was going to be something like that. But I thought it was going to be more truckerish, if you understand what I'm saying.
Maybe he said we've gotten cleaner over the years. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe.
I mean, at least he doesn't do impressions like Moochie.
I would off air. Next.
Listen, Marky Mark, this is your bad friend, Nathaniel Cunningham. And you know what? I got a message for Can Crushers Nation. The Bad Fellas are going to take over the podcast once again. How about you give us a call and book us?
Why is he so angry?
I don't know. Well, we got made by one of them, and now you got the second half that's just pissed off at you.
Do you want me to bring down the fourth wall on this one for him?
We might need to.
Do you want me to? You were called. You were called into action recently. And I think you dropped the ball. I am dumbfounded by this. Listen, again, High Ground Professional Wrestling, the Bad Fellas, definitely one of my teams. I love them. Donnie Bambino giving us love. I don't know what the hell I did to Nathaniel Cunningham. He's not taking over the podcast. Please, talk to the hand.
You got to figure this out. You're a made man, but not a made man. You got enemies now.
Well,
you got enemies within the family.
The Big Don, though, runs.
I get that. But yeah.
This guy, all of a sudden, is calling me out. The Big Don said I'm part of the family.
Yeah.
And this guy is now shitting on me. Him and Sarah Bubbles are going to be the tag team, apparently.
They're the ones coming for your back. Got to watch your neck. Watch your neck.
But, yeah. Pile on Fletcher Young, too. I'm getting hate all of a sudden.
See, I thought you had protection in the Bad Fellas, and now that's not your
one.
You got one. You got the other one looking to kill you from inside.
This is unbelievable. This is taking a different path than I really thought. Let's go.
Chad Miller. Hey, Mark. Chad Miller from OVW just calling to congratulate you on a 500th episode. It's quite an achievement. Thanks for all the support and everything you do for us. A lot of our big events and things that we've done over the past, really 3 years, we can attribute a lot of our success to your publicity and your help and your support. So on behalf of OVW, congratulations on the 500th episode. Take care.
Amazing.
That one means that one hits too, because Chad and I,
a friend said he had a friend in professional wrestling, and that's how I met Chad via OVW. And then Chad said, I'm really not the guy you want to talk to. You want to talk to Al. And Al and I have hit it off, and, we don't chat as much as we have, but we should, nonetheless, whatever. Made that trip to Louisville, and Chad gave us the key to Louisville, essentially. It was just so cool that he is somebody that I speak to minimally every 2 weeks. Possible another project coming up with him in the near future with baseball and everything. But that's cool. And I know it's from the OVW family, so that's amazing. Listen, Jenks, this is, and I'm speaking for real right now, not Mark to Mark or anything, but Mark that you know from the Seawolves and everything. This is a lot. Like, the love is amazing. I'm a humble person that stop already. I thought we'd get more stories or something. This is really fucking cool. But yeah. Holy shit.
You're a very humble person. I mean, but think about it. You've made such an impact on most of these people's lives. And I say most because Moochie's just a fucking idiot sometimes.
That is too.
Yeah, but you've done so much that these people love you and they care for you, and you've done so much to progress what the business is to them and their little pockets of the world, the promotions, the high grounds. You've done so much for them, even if it's one little spotlight episode, episode whatever number it ends up being. It's because of you. They have a spotlight. They have a voice that people can hear about them more, and you're their pathway out. You've done amazing work, and I get it. It's the humbling. I'm the same way. You can only take so much tooting of my own horn, and you're like, I can't do this, whatever. Blah. You deserve the accolades. You deserve your flowers, and you're getting them today.
Me and Miley Cyrus can buy our own flowers. Next.
It is I, the English professor from the county of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen. Congratulations to Can Crushers as you approach your 500th episode. We are into Andre the Giant territory, number 500. Not 468 like King Kong Bundy, but 500.
What a dick.
That's a lot of episodes. And among my favorite memories of this show, aside from imparting my wisdom on all of you, sharing the great history of this sport, things that Mark probably knew once upon a time before I gave him all those concussions and forgot them all, sharing all those English tips of the week, things that likely got Mark through college. But aside from that, my absolute favorite part of this show was when I got to be a promoter of a women's wrestling division, and I got to push who I wanted to push and watch Mark in the studio roll his eyes as I put the belts on the women I wanted to put the belts on. And Mark could do nothing about it. Those were great times. Congratulations to the Can Crushers. Keep on crushing it, guys.
Listen, it's my best friend in the world. That is my brother, my love, my man crush, whatever you want to say. You hear him every once in a while. He does rekindle on here, the English professor, John. What he's speaking about, we did it when it was a 3-man team, that whole fantasy thing. Some of it ended up on the real podcast. Then it was getting way too much on one podcast that hours were getting banned from podcasts. So we switched over just to a fantasy podcast as well. Those were cool. I was kind of the fan as the other two were the bookers and everything. It really was cool. Not him or me, but somebody else derailed everything, so we'll leave it at that. Sorry. Had to get one shot in. This guy, I'll stop for a second because there'll probably be more down the line on John. So we'll just leave it at that. I love you, John.
That's fantastic. I love when it's somebody really close to you and you can just see the excitement or the instant regret because you don't know what the fuck's going to come out of their mouth and it's going to go downhill either quick or that. But but that's fantastic. I love that. I do like that idea, that fantasy booking type thing. It sounded unique. I can't remember if I've listened to those or not. It's been a while.
Well, there's
there's
still some involved in this episodic era, but then we transitioned over to another thing that I would share them, and holy Christ. I would bet that they're not even on Facebook anymore because sometimes in podcasting you pay for sites, this, that, and the other thing. I was not going to double pay anymore.
Yeah,
essentially, so I think I know I did. I scrapped them all, so they're the meat and potatoes of that is not out there anymore. They were fun. They were both assholes, just putting people over that I would never put over, and they did it to fucking goat me all the time. They were fun times. I'm going to be a dick. It was a spotlight, a 2-hour show, and then some point during the week we had to record the fantasy part of it.
Yeah.
Helping out with another podcast as well, and poor Mark, I know. But again, a life and a real job as well. It just got so much and other things, whatever. So, yeah.
That's fair.
Can I tell you that I'm down to 2 more?
You can tell me that. I don't believe it. I'm just kidding.
We have 2 more.
All right.
So, this has been fucking amazing, by the way. Thank you all.
This is great.
This is unbelievable.
Love you guys.
I hate you in wrestling terms.
Mark the Mark, it's your boy, the Gorgonzola Rock and Roll, the Sultan of Swift, the amazing Asiago, the Gouda Gorilla, the great Gouda himself. I used Gouda twice. I've got plenty of them things, Goudas, that is, in my quiver of arrows. Just wanted to say, hey, I know you're getting close to that 500 episode mark. I want to go ahead and pre-congratulate you because I think that you're killing it. You're awesome. I love you. Keep crushing them cans. Keep podcasting. But my topic of discussion would be, where do we see the NWA in the conversation for years to come? I'm not talking about right now because everybody says there's AEW, there's WWE, there's Impact, there's all these other
Dedicated question.
GCW, just,
name every federation,
ranks and doing different things. Where does the NWA live in 5 years? What do they do? Who is their champion? Who are their main characters? Who are the ones that are killing it and keeping the lights on in the NWA?
Oof.
Just a little bit of discussion. My favorite version of the more modern part of the NWA was NWA Power. What say you, Mark the Mark? Hope you're still killing it, buddy. Hope you're feeling well. Hope you're doing well. Miss you. Hopefully I can hop back on the podcast sometime and talk.
Oh, you're always
the drip.
Oh, sorry. Geez, you are always welcome back on the podcast to just do this. Do what you just did. By the way, you did say Gouda like 8 times.
He sounded like me when I said happy 25 times during my sister's best man speech for her wedding. But that was unbelievable that he broke in and just put in the Ask Can Crushers in there too.
Right? Listen to this guy. So, I guess we have to answer this. But again, an amazing podcast. This guy is killing it. I love his whole cheese persona, and he does it outside the ring as well with like trivia with the cheese, which you would probably be fucking amazing at because you are the champion of the world.
I mean, I made a Brie joke like 2 seconds ago and you didn't even pick up on it. I said unbelievable and you just completely missed that whole thing.
Duly noted.
I'm fed up. Good. No, but it was funny.
Not that one.
But no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go for it.
All right.
Finish your thought.
No, my thought was to go to the question. and I'm going to encapsulate this, and by the way, we need Batman to look into when we're talking about the NWA in 20 years, apparently. Where do we see the NWA? I think I'm not being a dick because we'll answer it again. We see it possibly under some of the big indies right now.
Yeah.
Right now. In 5 years, I can't tell you, and I'm not going to predict because I think the releases in 5 years to maybe trickle over to the NWA could blow our minds. I think if they start getting shit right.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I don't think they have it right now. I just don't. I mean, he says the NWA Power was kind of his favorite thing. I agree. And I know me and a couple others have said this pre-COVID. They were rocking it. They were doing everything right. And we thought possibly this was going to, and I hate bringing up COVID for two reasons, essentially, but we thought this was a company that would excel maybe more than the bigs because they had everything and you had, the others kind of makeshifting stuff. They're the ones that took 18 fucking months off and said, all right, now we're going to get back at it. And they've lost everything. Tyrus didn't help, and maybe we could talk about Tyrus a little bit after I just get done with this rant.
Yeah.
Didn't help as champion. It's not maybe because of his attitude or anything, but just other reasons. I just, where do I see them in 5 years? Maybe where Impact is now. Maybe. Which is still a little above the Indies. Right now, I don't think they're above the Indies. And that's no knock on the Indies or anything, because I will go to Guam to watch wrestling. You know that.
Yeah.
If, I don't know, I don't want to throw out a name, but if Indie Wrestling X or whatever, or NWA are coming to the same city, probably going to pull in to go to the Indie Wrestling X so I can see some younger talent that I don't know when I'm watching some others. I love some of the people. I will always wave the flag for Matty Rankowski and Henry that is the women's champion right now. Like, I love kind of that they're building it up, but I think they have a lot of work yet.
Yeah, I would agree with your sentiments around them. They really lost the momentum when it came time with COVID. They had the perfect setup. They had the sound stage for Power. They had everything. They could have ran the show, but I think when you hit COVID, if that revenue is not coming in from the ticket sales to fill the sound stage, you just kind of lose it all and lose that momentum. I would agree. The NWA right now is kind of sitting bottom tier. I don't know if I say bottom tier, but it's at the indie level. It's kind of just, it's there and exists. The history elevates it a little bit more, and it's a little bit more of a platform, but it's not above what a general indie show is at this point. And most of the talent comes in, they do their job, they go and do something else. They go here, they go there. If you want to talk about in 5 years, I honestly would be happy if they got back to that elevated status near what an Impact is right now. But I'm also going to be honest and say I wouldn't be surprised if they might have to do some work with an Impact and have the belts showcased on Impact, or what they did in the early 2000s where it was, the NWA champion was on Impact. Now that was Impact's world title at that time. It won't be this time, but it would be more or less just showcasing, getting the NWA out there and doing a lot of partnerships to help kind of remind people it's out there. You can say what you want about Tyrus and everything that he's done and basically how he shot himself in the foot with a lot of his title reign and that, but I would agree that hasn't helped. They moved the title to EC3. Hopefully that can kind of get him out of that little time, get him a little bit further ahead and jump some things. But I think it's going to take a lot of bold strokes. It's going to take a lot of bold actions on their part to make the jump to the next level. They have to have people that stand out, be able to lock them down for a certain amount of time. I mean, Camille was probably one of their biggest attractions, and now she's pretty much gone. I don't know where she's going to end up, but she could end up somewhere.
Yeah.
In the bigger environments. So you got to see where it's going to shake out, where things are going to happen here. NWA is at a crossroads right now with what it is. The history's there, and it's great, and, you know, they just did NWA 75 and that. But again, where they did NWA 75, it didn't look like the NWA of old. So it's one of those things where you kind of have to just hope for the best and that they pick the right path forward that makes sense for them and for the wrestling fans going forward.
I think all this hurt when he left. By the way, Pat McAfee is starting SmackDown off.
Is he really? I don't have it on because I'd have to go like this.
Right.
And look at the TV. I've switched the office and the bedroom, and I have to do it like that, so I have nothing on right now.
I'm not going to ruin any more because we had so much more to do here. But all this was a big hurt when he left. But I think one of the biggest that they should have locked down, and I think I saw the writing on the wall, and I say I think, once Ricky Starks left, that's when a lot of stuff shifted. And yes, it was during COVID and this, that, and the other. And I completely support that, yes, he wanted money in the AEW and all of that, everything that he's done. But I think that was one of their biggest losses when he should have been instantly skyrocketed. I know he was TV champ for a while, but he could have been so much more. And in that realm of wrestling, even Ricky Starks, I'm not speaking bad of him, being that small of a guy, could have still been your world champion and just fucking stolen the show. And I think that would have been more talk points and hot topics that we would continue to talk about because he can move. And this is where my backhanded compliment comes in. Not compliment, backhanded slap. It wasn't that we hated Tyrus for who Tyrus is or his politics. I don't give two shits about that. Dude didn't move in the ring. Like, you've seen big men. The English professor brought up Bundy. Bundy moved great. Bam Bam Bigelow. Look at Vader. He's that size. He couldn't walk across the ring on a slingshot, essentially. Like, it was just bad.
He struggled a lot in NWA 75, and I think that's what turned a lot of people off is, we're not watching wrestling for their politics, because there's tons of people out there that you know and love that may not agree with whatever politics you have, I have, blah, 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 blah. But in some people's minds, it does hurt the product to watch that, right? So that's fine. But then on top of that, when you have somebody that's not as enticing for the wrestling thing, I could not find a clip anywhere. If I was not watching NWA or didn't know NWA, Tyrus was champion for NWA, and I'm not somebody that watches Fox News, how would I know he was the NWA champion, right? Because you don't see those clips pop up on your Twitter feeds or on your Facebook feeds or anything like that, because it's not getting the clicks that it should, because he's just not that type of salesman. He's not that charisma guy. He's not clickable. And that's nothing against his size or anything like that. It's just he's not a draw. He just wasn't a draw at that point.
As Ricky Morton says, he wouldn't put asses in seats.
Exactly. And you saw that by the main event of NWA, and there's nothing against EC3, but when you look at what happened in NWA 75 and where it was at and what was left of the crowd for the main event, it was like, nobody wanted to see. Yeah, exactly. So I think that was, to your point, you brought up Ricky Starks. That's a great fucking point. They lost that young talent, and they've now had to really line on more in the men's division than the women's, because in women's they've had the younger female talent really standing out. Excuse me, but when you talk about it, they're really relying a lot on Storm. They're relying a lot on different people that are just up there. They've been around the business for 20 plus years, which is great. But if you don't have that influx of talent that you can keep locked in, you kind of lose the value of why watch it, because it's not as enticing. It's not, well, let's see what this young guy can do against the old guy. It's what these old guys can have, and it's just not locking it in because they're not moving as well as they had in the past. And having those, and they can't do and have those compelling matches like they have before.
Agreed. Cheese. Thank you. As I said, after you got done talking, yes, always welcome to come back on the show. This would be a great conversation for the three of us, I think. Maybe, it's a spotlight that we just, maybe he knows more and can lead us down a path and get us to, I'm still not paying weekly charges for NWA. As much as I love Henry and Rinkowski and the girls, what they're doing there, name value for the guys, EC3.
Right now, that's the name value. You have Murdoch popping around there, but he's in the tag team division with Mike Knox, right? They're not, like, Murdoch.
Jay Bradley will hate me, by the way, too. He's there. And him and the wife already still want to split, my insurance money. He's told me that before. That's from OVW and the Crockett Cup. So, Donnie Bambino. I probably have more haters out there than actually love me.
You know what that means? They're jealous of you.
I'm over.
You're over. You're fucking John Cena right now. You're polarizing.
Do you smell it? By the way?
Is it?
Leave it at that.
Oh, son of a bitch.
All right, let's get ready. This is the last one. I've been deleting them as I've been pulling them out. Last call. I'll play it.
Speaking about keep on crushing it, this is Bobby Blaze, former Smoky Mountain heavyweight champion. I'm coming as the head trainer from the FTC, Art of Grappling Professional Wrestling School. Keep on crushing those cans and keep on crushing those podcasts. Congratulations to your 500th episode. That's a lot of mic time, my man. Keep crushing it. See ya. Can't wait to do another episode. Best of luck.
Talk about a fucking hype man.
Very hype, man. Hyping you up.
Bobby Blaze, listen to this. This was awesome. This is actually probably one of the recent spotlights. Well, I don't know how recent, but one of the recent spotlights that I have, and loved it. I know it was from this year. Loved everything. We got into old school wrestling when he was wrestling. We talked about the art of grappling. We talked about Brox. We talked about Sarah. We talked about the Brothers of Seduction. All the kids that are there learning from him and everything. Man, this was a great spotlight. And again, wanted to go see him. Shit came awry. We're going to make it happen out in Ohio. But yeah, this was cool. And this is somebody, again, keep that phone number in my pocket in case, because he's got a warm heart, by the way, an amazingly warm heart. And I'm sure you can hear it just from that little shout out. I'll let you talk here in a second, but I am literally emotionally drained, Jenks. I fucking can't believe this. I did not expect this. I thought we'd get more questions or just like, hey, congratulations or something like this. Like, I'm triggered a little bit.
Hey, you know what? We got the love in the world. Thank you for that. But this is what it was needed to be. I mean, our 500th episode, they're celebrating what, again, I can't say how much you
we
to people, what we are. But to that point, you have done a lot for professional wrestling before these guys and gals and all of that stuff. We've meant a lot, but hey, man, you have done so much of these 500 episodes, and it's great to see you here on the line. here to be on the ride watching you. And I know you're emotionally drained. You're tapped right now. You're like, oh my God, get this over with. Like, blah, 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 blah. We love it. We love it. We love that everybody loves listening to us week in, week out, and calling in and just talking to us and asking us the important questions that have coming down the line. But you're beside yourself right now.
Imagine if we really did go out all day and did this. I would be...
You would be all over the place.
Train wreck right now. Both drunk and just crying in the Jenks abode. Oh my God. All right. That's all the calls we had. We'll probably preface those here in a minute. But let's take... let me say this right now. Thank you all. Everyone that's called in. Amazing. Thank you. It was awesome. Everybody's always welcome back on. You guys know that. Most of you kept my number, hopefully. Let's do it again. Let's keep pushing this to 500, to 1,000 to continue on everything. But let's take a hot second, because then in segment 3, it's our turn to chat. It's our turn to kind of reminisce about some of our favorites and things that we've done, and maybe even ones that Jenks, and I'm not being a dick, ones that Jenks listened to before he was part of it, and whatever. But let's get ready to do this.
This is the hardcore icon, Just Incredible, and you're listening to Can Crushers Podcast. Now, that's not just the coolest, and that's not just the best Can Crushers Podcast. Well, that, my friends, is just incredible.
We're back hotter than a hoochie coochie, and it's time for the third segment of Can Crushers' 500th episode.
What? Hotter than hoochie coochie? Are you an Alan Jackson down in Chattanooga or whatever else?
That was in honor of the lower third for Hangman Page coming back with some slick one-off comments this week. And somebody brought it back up on Twitter, their favorite ones, and one of them was hotter than a hoochie coochie. And if you didn't see if you didn't see Dynamite, it was Hangman doesn't swerve when he drives. So taking a shot at Swerve Strickland there. So it was fantastic. So I had to bring back the hotter than a hoochie coochie.
All right. Well, since you brought up this week in wrestling, there's only really one thing I really want to talk about. I mean, 2. I digress. 2. And then we'll kind of get to our final thoughts or whatever we want to say about this whole Trainwreck podcast in essential from synopsis on a piece of paper to now. That's not even the right word, but go fuck yourself. I want to know.
Classy as ever.
What?
Classy as ever.
Yeah. The sappiness is out. Why is everybody so pissy about Becky Lynch winning the NXT title?
I don't fucking get it. I don't know. I mean, they've essentially put Stratton on a fucking rocket ship now. She's free to go to the main roster and call her up.
Right.
She's a stellar talent. Yeah.
What did they do with Flair?
The same thing. They set her up. They had her drop the title, move her on up. And, to the point of NXT.
She went back down, too, to win the title for somebody else.
From Rhea, and then Io took it from her. I think people forget that. I think people forget and just have short-term memory. Or people think, they just had to give Becky a Grand Slam, like the other 4 horsewomen. That wasn't it at all.
By the way, did you see, I'm sorry to cut you off, did you see what Bailey wrote on Twitter?
Oh, yeah.
It's about time, and then Becky answers back, still waiting for you to main event WrestleMania.
It took less time for you than you main eventing.
Like, everybody was saying that this just buried Stratton.
It doesn't.
How?
She just had a mini program with one of the best women in the world, best women's wrestlers in the world, and she fucking had a great match with it. They tore down the house, and now Stratton's free to do whatever they need. This also, people not looking forward down the line. Becky's not going to hold this title long. It's going to be maybe a month or two, and then one of the next girls is going to step up. Maybe a Kiana James. Maybe Roxanne Perez comes back into the fold. Maybe JC Jane steps up. Who knows? This Gigi. Is leaving. Thea. All of these women are in line, but the one to beat the man is going to really just catapult themselves to the next level. And they're setting things up. Hell, Cora Jade, even though she's injured right now, could be the one to do it. And that would be monumental for her career. So the possibilities are endless. I think a lot of people are just being a little short-sighted with what they're seeing right now in NXT.
I would agree. I would completely agree that. All right, so if you want to go that, so Becky can be grand champ. I don't care about that. I really don't. Good. Should she have had it when she was down in NXT? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. But listen, there was 4 of the greatest women ever to wrestle battling for this. I hate to say it this way. Somebody had to be left behind. Bayley was left behind coming to the main roster because they all shot past her. And not that they shot past her, they just didn't have anything working. This was more of a, hey, Becky's the same thing you just said, gonna put a rocket on 2 people's asses. One is Stratton, because it was a short little program, but it did a lot for her, and whoever takes it off of her. And actually, I really like that you said Cora. I see that probably being it. And I'm not predicting, not saying anything, not understanding where they're going, because maybe that whole timetable, Becky has a defense or 2, and then Cora comes. I would still like to see either JC Jane or Gigi get it. I put both of their names together, by the way.
Yeah, right.
I would love to see either one of them get it. Thea's going to have her chances. Don't get me wrong. Would I think somebody from the Pittsburgh area being the youngest heavyweight champion ever? Yes, that would be fucking awesome. Personally know her, this, that, and the other. Yes, I would love that for her. Not using her real name. For her. That would be amazing. She's going to have her chances. She has a rocket right now because what she's doing is really cool. But I think other people may need a little help because maybe they, I don't want to say stale, but got lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
Cora's probably one of them. But Cora is unfucking believable. So I love that you said Cora. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's really the one talent that has been waiting for that opportunity to go to the next step and take that next step. And I think the injury is I think she got injured. She got slowed down a little bit because of that. It's got to be coming up too. She's starting to be more and more relevant. You're starting to see her pop up on different things and that. She's coming around, and I think she's in perfect lining for one of the NXT's pay-per-views or special events that they have coming up to be the one to take that title from Becky in that. I'm not saying it's going to be at NXT No Mercy in a couple weeks, but it could be somewhere down the line. I think Becky's going to have at least 1 or 2 title reigns to get it. But I wanted to go back to your one point about the 4 horsewomen and then Becky, somebody gets left behind in that. You hit the nail on the head, but it's something that we've always talked about. We've had to, I think, mention in a couple Can Crusher podcasts. The titles sometimes are props. They're just not, they don't mean a damn thing. It's just an accolade. Becky didn't need no damn title to get to the main roster. She didn't need anything like that. She came along with Charlotte and Mercedes, and you can claim, oh, she's just riding her coattails. No, that's not the case. Becky could excel. Yeah, she had a glass ceiling because they were right there with her and they had to hold the titles because they needed it more to boost them. Becky was that one that could do it, had the talent, and we saw it explode when she became the man and really took ownership of who she was as a character and a person. That's why she got this treatment. That's why she was more homegrown than the other 2 were.
Yeah.
And when you talk about Bayley needed to hold down the fort. Somebody had to be the main rock for the roster for at least a year until they got Asuka settled in, until they got Ember Moon settled in. All of those different women at that point in time settled in their own space. And then when Bayley's time came up, they moved her up. It's all a shell game, and you have to take it with what it is. Just because Becky's getting her accolades now doesn't mean she's hurting somebody because of an ego stroke. She didn't need the ego stroke. She didn't need to go back down for the NXT title, but it's also bringing viewership to NXT. It's now, we've heard, you hearing rumblings, NXT is kind of the place to be right now. It's starting to pick up again and get really, really hot again. And Becky being on NXT on a weekly basis is bringing people to it. That's why they had Seth come down for a week. That's why Dirty Dom is showing up, is the North American champion. And that's why Rhea's there with him. It's bringing people to the show to continue storylines, but make it more part of the product and not making it an island of misfit indie toys, which is what it was under Vince. This is just starting the new change, the new shift in leadership. That's what it is right now. That's exactly what they're doing. It's starting in NXT. It's going to SmackDown. I have my theories about why The Rock showed up now as opposed to maybe last week or the week before that, and why Pat McAfee's there now. You can put 2 and 2 together if you want, but there's reasons now that things are happening and things are moving because they're trying to move the needle. They're trying to bring people together, and it's more of a comfortable environment to succeed in, and now they have what they need in place to move forward and be more successful as a company.
What he said. Couldn't have said it better. What you said, yes. My other one that I want to bring up, and you can bring up as many as you want before we do our well wishes, to-dos, thank yous, love yous, and all that. Did you do your math this week?
I didn't do my math this week.
You didn't do your 33 1/3, 1/4.
You know, I studied, I tried to follow, you know, it's 140%, 140.75%. I got so excited when that started happening.
As soon as he started talking about it, I'm like, holy God. It's a stupid callback. We mock it.
Yeah. But it was beautifully done.
It was.
I mean, as soon as he started doing it, I jumped off the couch. I'm like, Steiner math, let's go. And he just he hit it perfectly without
better than Steiner did.
He did. It was more coherent. It sounded good.
We're speaking about MJF, Renee, and Adam Cole in the back, just chatting about Joe and everything.
By the way, Renee, can we give props to Renee holding her shit together? These past 3 weeks have been just utter torture, I believe, for her. Between MJF and Steiner math, Tony Storm yelling chins up, tits out, watch for the shoe, and throws a shoe at her, to all the other shit Daniel Garcia dancing up on her. Just, the interview segments are becoming fun in AEW again.
Amazing. They're almost Mean Gene-esque.
They are very much almost Mean Gene in nature in that. Beautifully done. The character development is great, especially for Tony Storm. She's taken that and owned it. But Renee is...
I'm sure if I was going to really like that, but now I love it.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. It's the same thing with Juice. Like, I didn't know if I was going to like whatever the fuck schizophrenic madness he was going to have. But it's been fantastic watching Juice and Tony Storm in this character. It's been fucking great.
I forgot that I did have one more. Jade kind of working out her last couple of shows at AEW. All looks like she's going to WWE. Listen, she might be an amazing woman. There's no possible way she goes to the main roster, right? And I'm saying this mean but nice. There's no possible way. She's got to go to the PC and NXT.
Yeah.
Maybe she's the one to take it from Becky. I don't know. Maybe. Now I'm fast forwarding because of months. But there's no possible way. She's wrestling wise, I don't think she's right. She's gotten better. And I'm stumbling because I'm not calling her a bad wrestler, but she's not on the level of anybody up there right now.
No, and she's certainly a badass, but she's going to have to start NXT. There's no doubt about it. I mean, she has some opportunity to work her way up, but I think, again, it's one of those cases where, yeah, she was doing well in AEW. What does WWE fan know about her? Probably not much. They just see a jacked woman, basically. So she's going to have to reestablish herself in the footprint of WWE before she can get to the main roster for success.
Right. Yeah, those are the three hot ones that I wanted to bring up. If you wanted to bring up any more.
While we were talking, I completely forgot about this. And we kind of shit on this list last year, but the PWI list this year.
I have top 10. I was gonna ask if you wanted to talk about it this week. The magazine itself will be out for like 8 months.
Yeah. I mean, we can wait on this, but because I want to do more looking into this, but I want to see where the first woman shows up on this list again, which I don't know. But top 10, it's the Shield hold down the top 3. But we can talk about it next week if you want, just so I can look at it a little bit more.
Because it literally came out 2 days ago. Yeah. I have the top 10 snapshotted on my phone. But yeah, let's put a pin on that and talk about that next week because, we'll just dive into this. Maybe one of us will pull up the digital copy and share it with each other, which is illegal, so don't do that. But yes. But I agree. This is a magazine, like, I wish the magazine was out now. Because this is the one copy, hand-in-hand copy that I like buying every year so I don't like reading shit on my phone, like a whole magazine or a book or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I think it's better to have the book in hand, kind of look at it and walk through it.
I just don't understand why they don't release it at the same time.
I don't get that either. It's like they're waiting for some reason, and I don't understand that. Just manufacture it, or don't release the list at all until you're ready to do it.
Right. Ta-da!
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back next week. We will be. Okay? Somebody's asked, is 500 done? No, we're not done. Everybody in that whole second segment is right. 500 plus. If you follow me personally, I wrote a little note kind of thanking the promoters and everything and the wrestlers, the talent, the friends, the family, the co-hosts and all of that. This is where I'm going to... You get the final word today, Jenks. If you were off mute, I would have heard that.
Sorry. I get the final word. I thought I was off, but I was coughing. I had a coughing fit, and then I was distracted, but yeah.
Nothing is prepared. Jenks, do you see anything in front of me? So there's nothing on my phone. I have nothing. I thought all week I should prepare so I could mention and this, that, and the other thing. That's not me. So this is all by the cuff. Essentially, what the synopsis of the podcast means to me. Don't talk about a couple episodes, but yes, and I'll mention everybody. In 2018, this started as a pipe dream, a hope, a joke. Two guys on the back of a garbage truck, just chatting wrestling, hoping that somebody would listen. It started well with Paul and I. We carried it for a year and a half, 2 years. I'm not going to have the dates completely correct, so don't hold me on that. Year and a half, 2 years. The English professor stepped in. I went a little solo. English professor and Chad was there. And then me and the English professor. Soup has been there. You heard some of the other ones. Colin, Pat, Swanee's name was brought up. The second episode we ever had, we had Jason, who is a belt collector. We were going to have something like that, talking about belts all the time. We have never had and I'm not looking at Jenks, by the way, because this will get emotional. We've never truly had this is what we have to do for this podcast. It was, We're going to talk wrestling. Here's a list of shit, but we might not even ever look at this list. But we're just going to talk wrestling. And it has worked. You guys, and this is completely directed at the Can Crusher Nation, the fans that listen to us week in and week out. I honestly have the slightest idea sometimes when we're swearing like truckers, or I'm half in the bag from a couple years ago or whatever. I don't understand it, but you show the love each and every time. On any of the socials, or when we ask Can Crushers, or the talent that came on today, the fans, the friends, and everything, you bring it. You completely bring it. And I thank you. I completely thank you. Paul, thank you. Because without you saying, spend the money, Kelly will kill you later, this probably wouldn't have happened. So if you're listening, this wouldn't happen without you. And we did it. So, yes. Can Crusher Hall of Fame, you're in it. All my co-hosts are in it for some reason or another. You started it. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't even have a fucking name to this until the equipment came in, and Kelly's like, you guys are going to drink and talk about wrestling, and you're both garbage men. Can Crushers. So I thank Kelly for that, too. As simple as that is, I never would have thought of it. Never would have thought of it. Lisa Stena, she made the first original logo of the two guys crushing garbage cans. Jack Pollock has then been my artist since, of everything. IWC legend, Jack Pollock. Go back and listen to his spotlight. He's my artist. So thank him for the logos after. 2-to-1 Media for music that has been for a couple years, and now we transitioned to this new one. But they've done awesome things. Promoters. Okay? Justin Plummer from IWC he should have kicked me out of wrestling because I ended up backstage with Britt, with Wardlow, with Andrew Palace, doing kind of like nonsensical things early on in this podcast. Loved it. Covered a lot of his shows. Eric Shea, worked with him in Asylum for a while. Same thing. Gave me one of the first gigs after Mom passed away. Thank you. Without you, you pipelined a lot of wrestlers to us for spotlights. It's awesome. You've been on show a lot. Cato, down at Imagine Wrestling in Altoona, same thing. You gave us an amazing spotlight. You gave us a forum to talk to wrestlers. And I can't name all the wrestlers because, we have 500 episodes. We've had wrestlers on plenty of them. Can you figure that out real quick, Jenks? How many spotlights? No, I'm kidding. Don't do it. How many spotlights there have been?
I'll be the man behind the scenes. Give me a minute.
If you're counting spotlights now, I'm going to kill you. Al Snow, Chad Miller. The first spotlight that has ever been on Can Crushers. It's not called a spotlight. It says a snowstorm has arrived at Can Crushers. Al and I talked about his stuff. We talked about OVW. We talked about everything. Chad just kind of sat in the background, kind of talked about his story, how he met Al and everything like that. And then it just rolled from there. Champion after champion after champion from OVW coming on, and being down in Louisville, and then just transitioning to legends. And again, Manny Fernandez, Duke the Dumpster, Ricky Morton, Nikita Koloff, Mosh, Heidi Lee Morgan, Scott Casey, Barry Horowitz, Gilbert. I'm going to miss a ton that were on the show. And they wanted to be on the show because they've heard about this, that, or the other from somebody that I met at a show. So it was an easy ask that we reach out to them. They're like, yeah, we'd love to do it for this, that, or the other reason. Let me promote my last match, a la Gilbert and James Ellsworth. So, those are all cool. I'm getting to talk to my legends, my my heroes. There's that saying that says you should never meet your heroes because of insert reason. That's a crock of shit. I will tell you that right now, because I've not shaken hands with some of them, but I've spoken for hours with some of them. And they're human beings like me and you. And it just, to talk to Mark the Mark, a garbage man in, Podunk, Pennsylvania, about professional wrestling, and just chat about everything. And, there's times that I reach out to him just to say, hey, I know it's your birthday or this, that, or the other. That's really cool. I've been a radio guy my whole life. Loving communications, loving to hear myself talking sports, this, that, and the other. This has been, if I die tomorrow, okay, not that I plan on it, I am fulfilled. This has been a passion project and everything. So sit back and say, well, wouldn't you like to be on Sirius? Wouldn't you like to do? I would, yes. I wish this was my full-time gig. But there's things that I couldn't do then, because Sirius, iHeart, this, that, or the other essentially owns the entity of whatever I'm doing. So the listens that we get, and it's about 7,500 an episode. So that's really cool, from a guy sitting in his home studio and a guy sitting in his home office and, wherever we're recording from, means a lot to me. It has been a steady growth over and over and over again, but I know I have that network that continues to support. And I know I'm using I a lot right now. And he's going to come on in a minute and say, that's because it's your brand, this, that, and the other thing. But it's not. Because as I revert back, if it wasn't for Paul pushing me to buy stuff and getting yelled at because I overbought, because that's what Mark does, to get things, this wouldn't have happened. If it wasn't for John, Soup, Noodle, Pat, whomever, to jump into this wouldn't be where it was. And now I look at you. 2 years ago, when I had derailment a little bit, there was a strong possibility that, I don't know, what episode were you first inbreaded on or whatever? Not inbreaded. That was definitely
inbreaded.
Whatever episode you first came on, there was a possibility that's when, because it was a rough point. I thought, let's see what this does for a while. Maybe not. I love you out of every beating of my heart, because at one point this has become a job. Now it's not a job anymore. As we speak about what Colin said, and we spoke openly about how both of us have mental health and both of us have this, that, or the other going on, I look forward to our Friday night talks, or whenever we record talks about professional wrestling. If I don't talk to you all week, I know I'm going to talk to you that day, and that means so much, so it's an outlet. So you don't know how much you've saved me in these 2 years to open up wholeheartedly, because there's been times Can Crushers was ending. Nope, Jenks likes this, so I'm going to do it. Nope, I like this, so Jenks is going to do it. We are idiots, so we're going to do this. And the fans just continue to say, you two are idiots, we love you. Yeah. But it's about the fans. We do this for us, other reasons, but without the fans listening each and every week, we are just two guys talking to each other. So I completely love you all for this. This is 500. We are not taking any time off. I have my spotlight scheduled. Things are coming up. People are like, they're going to take time off soon. No, we're not taking time off. We might have to take time off because I'm going to a pit game or something. But yeah, there's not going to be a pause in this. So I know I rambled, and you guys have been with me for 5 years. You understand. I can't do this alone. I can't. So with everybody that said, Mark, you're doing great, we love you for the spotlights, this, that, and the other thing, I understand it's because I might be the contact, or as Jenks has said a couple of times, the brand. It's not. It is a two-party talking about the love of wrestling and what we sometimes predict right. We don't know shit about wrestling. We don't. Listen, they work us as much as they work you. We get lucky half the time, and that's real talk. It's just fun. It's what we do. And without the fans, again, this wouldn't have been where it is. And Jenks, I know you said you've only been 2 years, but the 2 years have been a lifetime for me. We've got many years under our belt of more friendships and everything. It just means the world to me that you're my ride or die.
And I always will be, Mark. I just want you to know that. And you tried to get me. You tried to break me. I know you did with that, but
it wasn't on purpose.
I know. I know. I'm trying to make. I'm a wise ass. Remember. I don't know how to follow that because this has been everything under the sun. There's been so many people that have come before me, and you included, obviously, but we'll get there, that have believed in your dream, believed in this, what it is, from Pat to Soup to everybody under the sun. They've all been here because they believed in what Can Crushers could be, or the possibility of it just being a fun outlet to have fantasy bookings or talk through things, or let's talk about the latest NWA stuff or the latest indie stuff or this or that. It was always fun to listen to it. We've known each other, 2010, 13 years now, more or less. You slinging hot dogs up in the beer garden, me running around changing kegs for you at the beer garden and doing all of that. And it was always the highlight of my day seeing you or talking to you or making a smart ass comment to you, because that was just fun. We got each other instantly, and then we worked together as interns the following season, and it kind of grew from there. The friendship grew from there. And through the ups and downs, and there was times where, we just didn't have that time together. We didn't talk. We didn't do whatever it was because we had lives. We were going in 20 different directions and we were doing the best we could. It was something that I always enjoyed, but listening to you guys do your stuff, do the podcast, nail it out of the park each and every week, it was like, man, Mark's found his niche. He's found that thing that he's got. It'd be so cool to talk about it. And I talked about it with Cody Hetrick and Moochie, and when I brought him back into it, Moochie's wife still hates me to this day about that. But no, really, Becca loves me, but he did start watching wrestling again because of me. It was because of Shane McMahon coming back, but that's a different story for a different time. We're not going to go there. But it was one of those things where I could talk to them and it was great, but we never had those long conversations that I wanted to have because I'm a fucking nerd and I got nothing better to do. I had nobody to love, and it was just, I'm pouring everything into professional wrestling and what it was at that point in time. And then I know I kept saying it was a couple years ago that I came and I had the thing, and look, he's agreeing. And I don't know if that's Max or Miggy, but they're agreeing with me.
Is Ethan home? Sorry.
Hi, Ethan. No, it's all good. No, don't apologize. But also, Bailey has not barked this entire episode, which I'm surprised at. I don't know what's going on there, but I know you may mention that it was I was a couple years. I kept saying it was a couple years. I've only been here 2 years, da-da-da-da. But I always felt like it was part of it when I was listening and just that's a good point. I don't know if that's a good point. You go down the line listening and everything. So when you asked that first time back in 2021, I remember that being so I'm like, this is going to be awesome to go on this, just talk with Mark for a little bit about wrestling and all of that. And that weekend, it was pretty shitty from the standpoint. I remember I talked to this one girl, and it just was just horrid. She wasn't great. It wasn't anything good. And I was just like, fuck, this is what I got. And it was like, I'm just going to put all of it into this episode and see what happens. Because at that point, we didn't know if I was going to be more than a week on.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, I remember you saying, you want to come back next week? I'm like, yeah, I'll come back next week. Why not? And from there, it just blossomed into being some of the funnest, greatest things that I've looked forward to every week, whether it's 1.5 hours to what it usually is 3 hours for us every Friday night. 4 hours where we just fucking ramble and we talk. There's times we talk ahead of the podcast and go, oh, there's nothing going on this week. This is probably going to be a short one. And we end up 3.5 hours in because we talk 45 minutes about college football or video games or some shit like that. And it's become this place where it's like, you've become the ride or die for me, Mark. You're the friend that I look at every week and be like, that's on my calendar. That's happening tonight. I'm telling people I'm doing the podcast. I can't talk to you. I don't know you for 3 hours. Da-da-da-da-da. They've come to expect Mike's locked in. He's done. He's not going to be doing anything. And, 2021 was a great year. Yeah, it was the year that October that year I met Kimberly and started talking to her. But the month before that, it's because I started this podcast. And it's really been one of those things that has truly changed my life for the better. And I've loved every minute of it, and I'll continue to love every minute of it, continue talking your ear off, making stupid-ass comments or predictions, whether it be thinking Chad Gable was going to join Imperium, which never fucking happened. There's so many things that I've done over the past couple years, but it's because you gave me a chance to do that. To have those stupid fucking comments, to make you, try to pop you every week, to just make these weird ass predictions in my head and just lay them out as scenarios. I know I'm saying a lot, but I can't understand. I may not understand what you've done, what I've meant to you over these past couple years, but I'm going to guess it's on the same lines of what you've meant to me.
On the same level.
Because it's been one of those things where when we started this, I was in a very dark place. And now I'm in a lot better place now than I have ever been in probably my adult life. And, I attribute you to that. I attribute this podcast to it. And I attribute our fans to it because if we didn't have the fans, we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't have continued going through. And I look at the fans and I talk to the fans and it blows my mind when Mark says, well, we have on average 7,500 listeners every week. And I just cannot fathom how that's possible because I literally make an ass of myself every week. And I think you people just come back for the shit show that comes out of it. And that's perfectly fine. And I'm happy to do that for you every week. Provide that escape because I hope we do that for you where we welcome you to feel like you're part of the conversation. You can listen to us and you can call us dumbasses or have a blood feud with Mark. And I have to stand in the background and offer to fight if I could for him. It's Daniel Spencer promoting his podcast 40 times when he's trying to tell us congratulations on the 500th episode, but it's fine. It's fantastic because we want that interaction. We want you guys. We want to learn that we're making a difference. I remember there was somebody earlier this year that said we were doing a hell of a job and it was something that's changed their lives and they look forward to it every
year.
Yep, exactly. And I remember us having that conversation, reading that post and just feeling it like, holy shit, we are doing something for other people outside of ourselves. And that's what makes it even better. Is we're extending that olive branch. We're making everybody feel welcome because everybody's welcome in this community. Everybody's welcome from the kids that listen to it, the 12-year-old kids that call us for Ask Can Crushers, to the 95-year-old men if they're watching, to any professional wrestler that lives under it, or just some guy that's hanging out in rural Kentucky or anything like that. We're here to have a conversation and to have fun and bitch about our lives or talk about our lives for 45 minutes.
Before we get to wrestling?
Before we get to wrestling, and you guys get frustrated because we're talking about video games and lusting over college football as a video game before it comes out, getting pissed about it. But it's because it's family. This community that we've built is family. Whether you know it or not, whether it's just Mark and I talking back to each other, everybody outside of that is a family. They're our family. Can Crushers Nation is our family. That's why I try, when I do the intro for my segment, or the segment that I'm introing, try to make it fun. I try to do something different. I try to feel the power or talk about hoochie coochies or something along those lines, because we're all family. Let's be a family. Let's have fun. And it's been something of a privilege and honor, rite of passage, any other cliche you want to think of and throw onto it. But I just love this, and I love you, Mark, and I love our Can Crushers as we continue to grow at 500 to 1,000 to a bajillion and beyond, to infinity and beyond.
Whatever Batman says we're going to get to, apparently.
Yeah, you know, wherever we're going to be in 75 years, Batman knows, because he can listen to things 25 years in advance, especially when he's maybe 10 at that point. So, you know, whatever. But it's been a lovely, fantastic fucking ride.
In Can Crusher Forum, we did this segment backwards. This is how it should have ended, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I forgot, we should have talked about some of our favorite episodes. So at least we'll end jovial and happy, because I love you. We'll move on past the love fest. Yes, everything you said, I echo. Ride or die. We're going. You know, I'm skipping past it because you guys just heard everything. So I ask you, and what are some of your favorite episodes? And I know it's going to be hard, especially for me, because I'm a mark for myself. For God's sake, you know this. But some of your favorite episodes, and you didn't know I was going to ask you this, so you didn't do any homework. But is there anything that stands out to you that you're like, man, that episode was so stupid that it's one of my favorites, or anything like that?
So I remember, obviously our two interviews were fantastic for their own reasons. The Mosh one was awesome because it was Attitude Era, 90s nostalgia kick for me. The Masked Saint one was fantastic because that was the first one he asked me to be on. It was a great conversation to learn about his life and that. We've done, oh my God, we've gone so deep on so many things. I remember, was it my first episode? It was either my first episode or second episode. I think it was the second episode. It was the 2021 All In, where Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole came out and debuted in AEW, and I know we lost our shit during that whole fucking podcast. Like, we were just losing everything, and we were trying to comprehend. I go back to when Vince got fired last year. We learned about it literally an hour before the podcast, and we got on, and we were talking through it at the same time as it was coming in, as more details were coming in. I remember that one just being fun, but also intriguing because we didn't know what was coming out of it, what was coming next. Why is Vince retiring? There's so much, like, didn't know what to do with all that information. Like, the Punk episode. We
speculated so much.
We speculated to the live long day. It was at least an hour and a half of speculation that we just sat there like, we don't know anything, but here's what we think about this. This is what we think about that. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The Punk coming back, and we could revel in that and his debut in 2021 or 2022 or whatever. Just right after that, his first match, All In. I'll go back to that. But then it was the little ones where we didn't think we were going to have much. And there was a lot of them. We were like, we ain't going to have fucking shit. And then all of a sudden I bring up this crazy brainiac idea, and then we're like 50 minutes into a conversation about the most random things.
About shoelaces.
About shoelaces or some shit, and then we have to come back, circle around, and then say, well, we have to finish Dynamite because we were on match 1 of fucking Dynamite and we had not even got through the week of it at that point. Those ones were always the funnest ones to me because we never knew where the fucking conversation was going to go. We'd just end up in a toilet somewhere just fucking like, what the hell just happened in the past hour and a half? And then we'd be like, holy shit, we still got to do this one, and this one. You know, and it was always just the stupidest things of it, and like just what we could do to kind of break it down. God, there's so many that I just remember we just sat there and like, oh my God, how did this become that? Like this type of like progression. And I always remember on a weekly basis just laughing and just saying, I can't believe fucking Mark said that. Or I can't believe I fucking went down that road. Like there's not one example, but it just pops up randomly. I'm walking down the hall, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. I gotta go back and talk to him about this. Or it's like, I'll stop dead in my hallway and just be like, holy shit, we gotta bring this up on the podcast. I gotta write it down, da-da-da-da-da. But there's always those little incidents. And I can't pick out a specific episode because it happened every episode.
It's all the time. Yes.
It was all the fucking time. But that's what made it fun, is because we could take a little ass topic or be like, we're not going to have anything this podcast and go for 3.5 fucking hours and be done with, and be like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Or I just scrolled through.
We just solved the world fucking hunger problem.
Probably one of my favorite names that we ever came up for an episode was a kerfuffled show about kerfuckled week of wrestling. I forgot about, we came up with that kerfuckle shit, and then that was just one thing after another. So it was stupid shit like that. We'd make up words, or that time we did fucking song lyrics.
Yes.
As our fucking
Rick Roll.
We tried to
fuck each other over with songs.
But those were some of mine. It was when we fucked around and we made it work for the podcast. What about you?
I don't want to say I want to, but
excuse me.
With you, exactly. Yes, those. And it was Rick Roll, or what the hell it's called, one of my favorites, because we started off and we're like, we burned through our list of songs real quick, and then we're like, oh shit, because we didn't get anybody. We just kept going and going and going. So I love that one. And yes, I would always say, if it's like mid of a pay-per-view, you know, it wasn't right after a pay-per-view and it's not the week before a pay-per-view, and AEW hadn't been doing anything because their pay-per-view wasn't until like 2 months later, we're like, I got nothing. I barely watched Raw. I barely watched any of this. And when I did, I fast-forwarded it because it was just Bobby Lashley spearing this person doing this person. We threw shit against the wall, and you still listened, fans.
Yeah.
And you still listened because it was just, and I'm going to pat ourselves on the back. It was just because it was that dynamic. There was no fighting. There was this, you're an idiot. No, you're an idiot. Let's talk about shoelaces. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. And we build something, and I'm like, holy crap. This is crazy that we both said if we get an hour, we'll be happy. 3 hours later.
Every single week.
And you're right. The Masked Saint was, it probably still will be, one of my favorites because, first of all, Chris was amazing. Like, super professional, but then he caught on to us and he's like, well, yeah, I was going to body slam. He didn't swear or anything like we were, but he was like, yeah, I'm going to body slam him out in the parking lot. And we both popped about him body slamming somebody in the parking lot. That was so much fun. Yeah. Yes, all of it. From the day that you've gotten here and we've just taken on the world, it's been awesome. It has. I do want to talk about one of my, listen, and I'm not going to be a dick, Jenks, I'm sorry. It's my all-time favorite one. It was the only way that I could move on with my life, about 4 years ago to the day, is all the pallbearers and friends and everything came up, and we did a show for my mom. Piss drunk. So if you guys have never listened to Remembering Mama Can Crusher, the stories about the childhood friendships and how mom really didn't like wrestling, but she loved Magnum TA and stuff like that. It is the train wreck of train wrecks, and it's only because of me. They tried carrying a show on, and I'm calling my best friends, my mom, my brothers in the back, screaming. I have kids just melee, and we just keep doing shots, and then Pat gets a little inappropriate because that's fucking Pat, and then, like, yes, but that's on a different level. That was like, Mark needed that one because there hadn't been a podcast in like essentially a couple of weeks because I was by my mom the whole time. So that is what this podcast has meant. That's where it took me to that level of like, all right, this is the only way I'm going to move on with wanting to do a podcast if these jackasses are here. And then just continuing to build and build and build. And I want to say it's the spotlights. Like, I will always thank the wrestlers because they don't need to. They don't need to come on or anything like that. But when you ask and you can feel the emotion through the phone of, they're like, oh my God, yeah. Because listen, I have a note that I send to them. They all like, oh my God, I've been asked to come on Can Crushers. This is awesome. When do you want to work? And being a Pisces, I don't want to fuck up anybody's schedule. So right. I'm like, you tell me when they're like, it's your podcast. You tell me when you record. I'm like, I can record any day after this. Like, just pick a date. So then I feel like I'm strong-held into a corner. And I'm like, does this time work? They're like, can we do it an hour later? Yeah, oh, sure. If you don't want to do it that day, we can move it into... Just working with the talent and the promoters and everything like that has been... And I know it's a generic answer, Jenks. All of them have been my favorite. Because everything in segment 2, where they're like, hey, congratulations, this, that, and the other thing. And you've said it, so I will take one more. This has been my baby. This really, and I'm not being a dick now, I'm separating all, like co-hosts or anything. This has been my baby. This has been everything I think I've ever wanted with a communications degree, which you don't need a communications degree to do this, by the way, folks. You don't, so don't spend the money. But this is my outlet. You're my outlet. You're it. It's never been so comfortable than the last 2 years of everything. So, yeah, I just thank you, fans.
Thank you. Thank you, every single one of you. Here.
I'm going to take a drink to all of you. We will return. Listen, now I fib to you all. In hopes there's a spotlight this week. Because somebody already wrote back to me, but I'm reaching out to somebody. In hope there's a spotlight this week. If not, 501 will be next Saturday. We're not going anywhere. We will get back into wrestling. We will tell you what we think about The Rock being on SmackDown tonight. John Cena going against Waller. We'll talk about, excuse me, oh, that came out of nowhere. Everything we possibly can. Wrestling is not leaving Can Crushers. Can Crushers is not going to YouTube either, by the way. You go, Ryan. You edit double time. I mean that out of love. We're audio. We got the faces for audio. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that, too.
And
we got this.
Way too many times that we get banned.
Oh, yeah.
From YouTube.
We'd forget somehow, some way, and get demonetized as soon as possible. Yeah.
Instantly. So, this has been very humbling. From you, from everybody that called in, everything. So one more time. generically, but it's the best way possible because I can't list the names. From fans to family to talent to promoters to hosts to co-hosts to LA Knight, anything. I love you guys. Please keep riding along with us because this is me and Jenks' thing. We'll keep bringing it.
We'll keep bringing it. We'll keep bringing the laughs, the love, everything. Yeah!
Remember, just because you're trash, though, doesn't mean you can't do great things.
Your garbage can, not a garbage cannot. Make sure you tell your loved ones that you love them.
Because you never know.